People are amazing. And this world has a large supply of incredible people doing incredible things that have a story to tell. Stories that encourage, inspire, and are just plain interesting. Join us on the 1st and 15th of every month as David Disponett meets with interesting and inspiring people that, well, he just wants to talk to.
Isolate itself, because if you're going to get a whey isolate, might as well just get the best one.
Right.
And it's the highest quality whey isolate. And then you have just a blend, and then we have a blend that's without egg, because you're going to have people that have egg allergies and can have that. So you're going to, and then we have one that's just vegan. So
I just feel like
that covers all the grounds.
Have a lot more options. Like if you go into like a
they're level, using everybody's
they've got
protein.
like 5 different brands.
Well, that's because that's not their brands.
Right.
They're using third-party brands.
But also, you guys have melatonin. Mm-hmm. You guys have like some vitamins.
We have everything you need, and I'll probably get into this on the podcast, but
he's probably already recording us.
Oh, nice. So the good thing about us is if you're going to take something, we know why you're taking it. So, like if you're coming in for anti-inflammatory turmeric or joint pain, then we're just going to pair it with everything that conquers that.
So the other thing I saw on your website that I liked is you guys have pre-built stacks for different things. So if you buy a stack, does it get cheaper? Do you know? Like if I was to buy each individual part of the stack, which I can,
right,
versus if I just bought it bundled through the website, is it going to be pretty much the same
website?
price?
It's going to be pretty much the same. In store, it'll be different, but in website, it'll be
because I know it's like some places that's kind of their way to get you. You save $20 on the stack or $15 or something.
Right. And in store that's the case, but online it's different.
Well, I mean, it's awesome that you decided to come hang out with us on the podcast today.
Heck yeah.
We got like so much to talk about today.
Yep.
So guys, this is Sky Shelton.
There's a lot of cameras.
There's a lot. You don't know where to look.
Yeah, just in a general direction.
You know, we'll pick out the right camera. Sky has quite a fun and interesting background and story. And, both in fitness and in music, and man, you've kind of dabbled a little bit of everything. Now you do a lot of nutrition stuff.
I do.
With the Nutrishop. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're originally from Mississippi.
Yep.
Kind of been all over the place. Mississippi
is where I was born. I spent most of my life in Nashville. My whole adult life was Nashville, but my whole growing up life was Mississippi. So. But yeah, music was like bred into me. My dad was the guitar player for like Percy Sledge, the Drifters, the Shirelles. So I grew up in music. And so I ended up getting that hook set in me. It wasn't because I wanted it, but I just ended up being a prodigy. And so was kind of thrown into that.
Well, it's kind of like Michael Jordan. You expect his sons to at least make an effort at basketball, right?
Right.
So,
like it's the same thing. It's like you're thrown in there, and it might not be your passion, but if you just end up being around it so much, you're just good. And so that's kind of what happened to me. So
yeah, and I think a lot of people find out, they're playing a sport their whole life, right? And they hit high school, and they're like, oh,
right,
I'm burnt out. I'm done with this. It's no longer my passion. So I totally get that.
It honestly never was my passion. I mean, there was a hook set when I'm like in kindergarten, first grade, and like they got show and tell, and I'm playing a musical instrument, and everybody's like, wow, and you get that attention,
right?
But it was just not really for me. Like I'm.
But you did it into your mid-20s, right?
Yeah, I felt like I didn't really have a choice. Football. I mean, I love football too, but it's just like when ACL injuries happen and injuries happen, then the music is the thing to fall back on. And I made more music.
Was it like the easiest or the least path of resistance to make income at the time? And
yes.
like you didn't hate it, but it also wasn't like your thing.
It wasn't. It's my thing if it's not a business. But I've honestly made more money in music than I did in anything in my life.
Right.
But it's just like it is.
You'd rather play for fun than money if you could.
Yep. I feel like music is a hobby, and I think we've flooded the market with telling people they can make it, and you have so many people failing because they think they can.
Well, it's different though. So the landscape, probably from even when you were like at your height of your music writing and doing music, just the way that you can market yourself with. You don't need a record label.
That's
per se.
what I
you
don't
can make
like.
money
Yeah, that's
without
what
a
I
record
don't
label.
like about it. That's exactly what it. Because if you're a musician, you should just be a musician. You shouldn't be an accountant. You shouldn't be a marketing major. You shouldn't be all these things. But yet, when you enter into music, you have to be all of those things.
100%.
And I don't think it should be that way. I think you should have other people do that, and you should be a musician, and you should be the talent.
There. But I mean, like with you, I'm sure you do a handful of different things to run your shop. You got many. So I think to a certain extent, that's how the music game is today. It is a business, and unfortunately, until you can afford people, you've got to do your own accounting. You've got to do your own content creation, the social media, and then hopefully, you get to a point where you can be like, okay, I can afford to pay you to do this, this, and this.
But as a musician, that hurts because.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like it should be music based.
You should wake up, right? Focus on music,
you
go to bed.
You shouldn't have to divide that attention between so many different things. You should be able to just be a musician.
Right. Well, music is an emotional experience for a lot of people, right? And so like if you're not 100% on your game, right? Because you're thinking like you're recording a song, but you're also thinking, shit, man, like I got to do this, this, and this today. Mm-hmm. Like I totally get that. You're not able to fully focus on the craft.
Right.
But you wrote for Sony, right?
Mm-hmm.
For many years. For 4 years. Okay.
Yeah. I love writing, but that's what got me into fitness is because I was always athletic in sports, but never really involved in fitness. Was more genetically fit and just had that metabolism. Well, it was just that metabolism of being able to lose weight really fast. And so the only way I could put on weight is through muscle. And when I discovered the gym, it's like I didn't have any hours at my job, so I lived right next to Gold's Gym. I went and joined it, and it kind of saved my life in the aspect of me just not rotting away doing the same thing over and over again, like actually learning about fitness and why people do it. And you learn what not to do as well. Like I did the competition aspect, and no. I'm not throwing any shade on people who do the competitions because it does teach a lot of discipline, but it's not healthy. There's no way anyone can say that's healthy.
Believe me, I know. Do you know who Sean Smith is here in town? He teaches at Aspire, or he's a coach, I guess, at Aspire Fitness.
Of course,
So my sister dated him.
Okay, cool.
For many, many years. And I remember it might have been the one that he was expected to finally get his pro card at down in Florida. And so he's doing the bodybuilding competition and collapses on stage. And it's because he had let his potassium levels get so low because he was trying to just look as cut and as the least amount of body fat percentage, no water, just completely dried out to the point where he collapsed on stage and ended up in the hospital. My sister said, like, I want to say like the first 4 or 5 hours, all he could do is look at her, but he physically had no control over his body.
Yep. And that's what
Not
competition can do.
Right.
Yeah, because it's competitive. And when you introduce competition into fitness, people will do anything to win.
Right.
That's what you'll do. You'll do that in anything. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Right.
Right. Well, and that's so not only is the process of drying out and things, but I mean, let's be honest, like the big bodybuilding stuff, all those guys are taking anabolic steroids.
Of course.
And I think we're probably just now starting to get studies back and get an idea of what damage anabolic steroids do or don't do to the body.
Right.
I'm guessing you could probably take them throughout life if you did it at a reasonable amount. I mean, not to the extent that some of these guys are.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's still alive, and he's still doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. How many heart surgeries has he had?
Right.
So he said like 3 heart surgeries though.
But you also don't see a lot of big people in general that get really old.
So they seem to die earlier on in their 40s and 50s.
And it's because
60s.
their heart can't keep up.
Your heart's a muscle, right? So steroids help grow muscles.
But not that muscle. It doesn't grow because it's not the same type of muscle. It doesn't grow.
I was always under the impression when you took steroids, your heart over time could grow some due to the fact.
Actually, it doesn't. Your body tends to grow too big for it, and that's what it cannot.
Really?
That's the same thing with people that are overweight.
So the heart stays the same size, the body, and so now the heart has to work more. And later on in life, when it has to do that, I'm guessing it's
puts
more
a lot
stressful.
of pressure on lots of things in your body: joints, veins. arteries, everything. If there's so much pressure involved, it's the same thing with people that are obese. If you're too big for your heart, it's going to fail.
Right.
And that's what happens with bodybuilders as well. So it's not necessarily the steroids that do it. There's no actually correlation in studies that I've seen, because I've looked into them, that they can prove that it's the steroids doing it. But if you get too big for your heart, it will fail. I
did not know that. Yeah. See, that's why we're having you on to talk all kinds of supplements and all kinds of stuff. I mean,
unless there's new studies, but when I read into them, there's never been really any correlation of like.
Are you constantly reading studies about things, especially products that you guys carry in your shop and stuff like that?
All the time. And not just about product. I would read nonstop about everything. I love knowledge so much.
The worst part is walking into any type of supplement store, GNC, whatever, and it feels like you're asking questions, because most people really don't have a full understanding. Like they come in like, hey, I've been told, monohydrate, creatine's great for me, and like I feel like sometimes people just be straight up lying to you, or they just don't know it. But it's like
if someone comes in and asks about this, here's the bullet points that you do to sell it.
Right.
And
you can tell the people I feel like that are kind of bullshitting you versus the people that are genuinely like giving you like. So like when I walk into a place like that with like any other store, I want the person behind the desk to be able to answer questions about the product that they're selling at the store.
The best question to ask is, why do you want to take it? Okay. That's honestly the best. Why are you taking it?
Right. What are the results you're hoping to get from it?
Yeah. Or just, why are you taking it? What have you heard that pushes you in this direction? Because sometimes people want to take stuff that's not meant for them. Right. They just won't. And it's not meant for them, and they think it is because of someone told them that it was good, and they're like, I'm here I have that happen all the time, and I'm like, you don't need to be taking this. Especially people that like do CrossFit, and they come in and they're like, I want the most powerful pre-workout. And I'm like what? And they're like, high stem. And I'm like, that's the opposite of what you want for CrossFit.
Why is that?
Heart rate. If you keep your heart rate down, you have far more endurance than if you have your heart rate
your
up.
ATP system's going to work better.
And CrossFit is all about beating your previous PR and getting better and having more reps. You're not going to be able to do that with a high stimulant.
Is that the pre-workout that you sold me? The stuff I tried, or is that different?
That's a mid-stem one, and it's really good. It's
well,
probably my favorite.
As I told you, I don't take pre-workout, and when you gave me some that day, you're like, take this at your next workout, and I was like, okay, I think this actually helped me. Oh, well, I took it the workout this morning, so again, I feel like I had a good workout, and I wouldn't say that it was like, oh my God, it helped, but I say at the same time, like the endurance seemed to be a tiny bit better throughout the workout.
Well, people underestimate what nitrous oxide actually does in the body for endurance. And it's not just I want to look good and that the pump is so I can look good in the mirror. No, it actually provides more oxygen, and so you don't give out as fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been in the supplement game for a couple of years now. I guess so you kind of did the bodybuilding thing, the music thing, and now you really feel like you found your passion in supplements.
Yes. Well, I enjoy helping people probably more than anything, educating people on what they need to do.
Okay.
Because people come in questions all the time, and they just don't know where to start. They don't know how to get going.
So how do you help those people? What do you tell those people when they're coming in and asking? They're kind of like, hey, I'm working out. I need to do supplements. I've been told. Like,
ask them what kind of workouts they do. I mean, if it's straight cardio, they need to understand that cardio is not necessarily about burning fat. It's cardiovascular. That's where it comes from. It's actually heart health is what cardio is. It's not. Now, you do burn calories throughout the day, but calories don't actually mean you're
not the same way
fat.
you would if you did a little bit of cardio and a lot of bit of strength training.
Right. Strength training is probably the most proven when it comes to everything, when it comes to burning fat too, because you do gain lean muscle tissue. And when you do that,
your body's working the whole time, breaking it down and building it up.
You also have to repair, which also takes calories. It takes energy to repair as well. So even after you're done, you're still burning. But people don't know that. It takes like 72 hours for a muscle to fully recover. And so when you're doing that, your body actually has to work to recover as well. So you're constantly burning calories in that process.
It's like kicking your metabolism up, almost in a manner of speaking.
You burn far more calories with muscle than you do anything.
Yeah. Well, so what is it? They say that, I think I read something that was like 24 hours after cardio that you get a little bit of
that's heart rate. So you
bring your heart rate up. So the next 24 hours, you're able to maybe burn a few extra calories.
Correct.
But they say if you have a good lifting session, it's up to 36 hours of your body giving you that extra fat burning, in a manner of speaking.
It does, but it can go up to 72 hours. It depends on how.
Okay, so
how many muscle
36 to
fibers you
72,
break.
and depending on how hard you worked, and I'm guessing as far as how you do recovery. Because if you're working,
taking a lot of stuff that can help with your recovery.
Well, that or you're
process.
just making sure you get enough sleep. So like if you're working out 2 hours a day, but you're only getting 3 hours of sleep, that recovery is going to be hard on the body, right?
Correct. You burn far more calories the following day if you get a good night's sleep compared to when you don't.
And I mean, I'm guessing in that case, if someone told you that, you're probably like, well, you probably don't need to be taking certain supplements. You just need to figure out a way to get a couple more hours of sleep. Then come talk to me before I start putting stuff in your body.
Right. And the hormone regulation from not getting a lot of sleep is pretty bad. If you're not getting a lot of sleep, it's really messing with your hormones a lot. So it raises cortisol, raises bad estrogen. You don't want to. Plus, it's just not healthy. Sleep is when you recover. That's like the most. That your body does the most to recover when you sleep. And so
supplement wise with sleep, are there supplements? I know there's melatonin, right? And then what's, by the way, is it Relax? Is that what it's called?
Restore.
So I've taken that. I've been taking that every night. I've been taking 2 of them a night. And you're right. I mean, the first couple times I took it, after like 20 minutes, I did feel like a calm.
It's not a sleepy. It's just a calm, which is why people don't sleep a lot, is because that's when their brain kicks in.
So my brain races. So before I was having some sleeping problems, like I told you this summer. Brain races a lot, and that was getting in the way of my sleeping. As well as I have a kidney issue that causes me to get up and urinate multiple times a night, and it was because I wasn't getting into a deep enough sleep for my body to be like, hey, you really don't need to urinate. We can keep sleeping. And then once I did that, got on trazodone, that helped. But then, like you said, like going to bed stressed or out of whack it's not good.
It's not good. Well, it's just not good. That doesn't mean that you can't live and survive and things like that. It's just there are better ways.
You're not living optimally. Right?
Exactly. Like I say this with supplements. I've actually never said this before, but I'm about to say it now.
Let's hear it.
You can do things without supplements.
Okay.
But I can also go to the mall without a car.
Right.
If I take a car, it's far more efficient than if I walk it. And that's basically the same thing when people are like, well, I stay away from supplements because that might be unhealthy. No, it's not. Like everything works at a cellular level.
Right.
And it needs building blocks to function. And that's all supplements are. It's stuff that you get in food. You just need more of it that you're not getting. And so it's just a more efficient way to do everything. It doesn't mean you can't do it without them. It just makes it a whole lot faster, a whole lot easier to get
very beneficial. I mean, well, I'm very honest and open about this. I take TRT.
Yeah.
Like that we'll call. I mean, that's pretty much a supplement. I don't know. Is that probably wouldn't be considered
a synthetic? It's a synthetic testosterone of what you already have.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like when I take that gives me quite a bit of benefit.
It does give you benefit because, for one, I don't know how old you are.
I'm 36.
36, so
probably taking it maybe a little early in my life. I think I've read a lot of articles that say like late 30s, the first couple of years into your 40s is really when you want to start doing it.
I'm 100% against any like 20-year-old to 30-year-old taking testosterone.
Right.
Like complete, because it does stop your body's production.
Yeah, and I've been on it long enough. So I was like middle. So like I was fine, but then now I'm above. I think I'm at like a 25-year-old or something like that. But I just really enjoy it. So, and it doesn't seem to have any major health effects.
I mean, it can in the long run. Not really hard. It can do prostate issues later on, but that's also because estrogen affects your prostate.
So they keep an eye on that because I guess they have estrogen blockers if it gets to that point.
Yes.
And that's when I'm like, eh.
Well, the problem is your body tends to regulate no matter what you put in it. And when you inject testosterone, your body stops producing testosterone because you're getting it elsewhere. Right. And then your body matches the testosterone with estrogen. So your estrogen levels rise. So if you don't keep those down, as soon as you stop taking TRT, that's why you get breast and things like that.
And you should slowly cycle off, I would think. Because like I've been on it long enough and I take, I would say, a large enough dose where like my body doesn't even produce testosterone anymore. Right. I would guess that it's just relying on whatever I'm putting in it now.
And I wish more people would supplement before they did injections of anything, because Most of the time, we don't have a problem with production, even though these clinics tell you you do.
Right.
You have a problem with suppression. You're suppressing testosterone, and that's just normal as you get older and you gain more stress. And there's supplements that you can use to release.
Right.
testosterone.
Well, and I take it. I mean, like a person would take a steroid. I take it like I want the benefit from it. Right. I understand that I don't necessarily probably need it. Like I could function just fine without it, and
but also people, I don't need to drink this
but
rum
but
and
it's
Coke,
something
but
that
I can still do it.
I want to do it, and so that's why I take it. So I don't take it as much because I feel like I need TRT replacement. I enjoy the benefits, and it seems to be.
And there are a lot of pros. There are a lot of good.
Well, it seems to have the most amount of pros versus the least amount of cons. Like there's a million different anabolic steroids that I could take that would also give me great benefit, but
the side
effects would be much higher. So and I take it through a doctor, so we do the blood work, so I'm able to feel confident. And like if they're like, oh man, this is not good,
right?
We've caught it. We need to cycle off, or we need to figure out whatever
fluctuates some things. Yeah.
But kind of circling back to all the supplements, and I know I'd asked you earlier, like far as sleep is concerned, what are some things that you really think help that you guys sell? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 total sleep formulas. Okay.
Because if we know you're coming in and you're asking for melatonin, you're probably wanting it for sleep.
Yeah. I don't know people that use it for anything else.
But melatonin actually doesn't make you sleepy. That's not what it does. It regulates your brain to know it's night. That's all melatonin does. So if people are looking to get sleepy because of it, that's not the function of it.
It just helps to tell your body
it's nighttime. It's time to go to sleep.
And when I decide to go to sleep, does it help you get into a deeper sleep then by telling your body that?
Right. Because your body goes to rest. And that's all melatonin does. It's not like NyQuil, which it knocks you out.
Yeah, but then you got the groggies the next morning.
Right.
But
exactly.
I mean, if you need to sleep, that sleepy
it'll
night
knock you out. But there's a lot of good supplements when you incorporate melatonin with it.
Okay.
That actually benefit what melatonin actually does. GABA is really good. Ashwagandha is really good. Anything that
helps with testosterone production as well, right?
Regulates hormones.
Yeah. So on top of that, it has more than one benefit. And then you and I talked about magnesium.
One of the best supplements I think I can think of is ashwagandha. And I don't think there's not really any negative things like people like, well, can I take it if I'm breastfeeding? And originally it was discovered for breastfeeding. That's because it helps the development of a child. So it's actually beneficial to take it when you're breastfeeding. It is a very, very, very good supplement. Yeah. It's amazing why people haven't been taking this even longer. Like, it's such a good supplement.
Well, but okay, so if you go into your store, you go into an Amazon, or was it Whole Foods? Is that Amazon's their Whole Foods or whatever it is?
I think they are incorporated with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you return things to Amazon, you go to Whole Foods. So,
No, I think Amazon bought Whole Foods.
Okay, cool.
But I'm not sure. But I guess what I'm saying is like the one cool thing that I've read about Whole Foods is that they have every single product that they have on their shelf has been third-party tested and first-party tested.
Right.
So they actually test stuff before they allow it onto themselves. But just in general, there's so many fucking supplements, man.
Well, I'll tell you something that makes me really happy. So
it's confusing, right?
I messaged this to my CEO the other day. So there is a legislation coming into play.
We did talk about it,
which is amazing because it's going to put a lot of supplement companies out of business. And a lot of people are asking me about it. They're like, what do you think about this legislation that got introduced? And I'm like, we follow all those guidelines now. So it doesn't affect me at all. That's what we do.
Does the Nutrishop itself follow the guidelines, or do you as a shop?
Nutrishop itself follows
the guidelines that would consist of.
You have to actually, and the thing is, the reason why it's being introduced is you look at Celsius got sued, Bang got sued. They're putting stuff in it that's not, and saying there's stuff in it that isn't in it.
Right. Well, because people are very gullible, right? So if you're like,
all it takes is an Instagram influencer. That's it.
And be like, hey, there's a testosterone booster in this Bang drink if you drink it, even though there isn't.
Right.
There's some other bullshit that's not healthy for you. People will fucking buy it, man. They'll go out and get it.
They put on. It wasn't really hard to catch Bang, honestly. I'm surprised it took that long.
What was in their ingredient?
Super creatine. And what is super creatine? Super creatine what's the difference between regular creatine? Like.
I know a lot of people that did it because it said it had BCAAs in it.
Right.
Which I don't know.
Which, I mean, it probably did. That's not hard to come by on BCAAs.
Right.
But super creatine doesn't even exist.
So what was it?
I don't know.
Okay. You
But
just know that
they got sued for saying there was stuff in it that wasn't in it. And it was Coke that actually sued them. Rain.
They should, though. They should make like a legit like BCAA, like an actual, like I would buy a drink that had like BCAAs in it, had monohydrate in it. Like it had like a stack of like.
Well, it was supposed to. It just didn't.
Right.
I mean, Bang was supposed to have all of these things. I think it said glutamine on the
Well,
top too,
I read a bunch of articles about Bang, and I just like was not. There wasn't enough positive information out there to make me think that like what they were putting on in their can was 100% right.
I don't like Bang. I don't like Bang because they turned their back on what got them popular.
Which was
supplement shops.
Okay.
Supplement shops got them popular.
They did get very popular. They
of
became very
shops,
trendy
because of GNC, Nutrishop, things
Right.
like that. And then they went and gave nothing to the people that got them there. They just abandoned them. They didn't give them an exclusive nothing.
So is that something that Nutrishop carried at one point in time?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then they just kind of pulled out on you guys once they became.
They pulled out on all supplement companies.
Really?
Yep. They just went. I mean, they're still in there because you have to carry them because they have the leeway now because they're the popular ones. But before it was, they had like 3 flavors. I think it was like bubble gum and champagne and some other
they got
things.
like 20 flavors now.
Yeah, but they got popular because of the fitness world and then just totally turned their back on them. Didn't offer them anything, no exclusives, no saying like GNC, you can get this one, or Nutrishop, you can get this one.
Well, that'd be kind of smart though, right?
It would have been.
I mean, that's what was it Coke, Pepsi? They do is it Pepsi, Coke, Mountain Dew? Mountain Dew's
the Baja Blast, yeah.
Yeah, but like okay, so Keenan over here. We're gonna talk about Keenan for a second.
Okay.
This guy is obsessed with collecting different. Is it Mountain Dew flavors?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
How many different flavors you got at the house right now?
Probably like 15 to 20.
You really do the do.
All right.
Yeah.
Give me 5 places that have exclusive Mountain Dew flavors only.
Okay.
Watch this.
So
this is impressive.
So there's Dollar General. They have their Maui Burst. I haven't seen it in a while, but that's theirs. You have the Taco Bell Baja Blast, but then it comes around every summer.
Right.
For the 100 Days of Baja. Then there's KFC with Sweet Lightning. It's a peach flavor. Sam's Club has Berry Monsoon. Applebee's has Dark Berry Blast.
That's pretty good.
Walmart has Frostbite.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I don't like Frostbite. It's not that great.
That's the solid white one.
No. Solid white one is Whiteout. Frostbite has like a shark on it.
Okay. There we go.
Then there's, hold on. I'm thinking of some that I haven't had yet in a while. There's Food Lion has a flavor called Uproar. Food Lions are like.
But these are all exclusive. Most of these are exclusive to the stores.
Yeah. These are the ones that are exclusive to the stores.
Which
Yes.
I think
smart.
that's great.
That's so smart.
I think it's great, and that's
You have guys like this.
Yeah, and his knowledge on Mountain Dew is how I am with supplements.
Yeah, exactly. But like that's what he spends some of his money on. He likes to collect all these different flavors. We'll have cookouts, and he'll come over with like a cooler of like flavor. I'm like, what is this shit? I didn't even know this was a flavor.
That's super cool. No, yeah, Taco Bell and KFC, they have 2 different ones, right? And but they're owned by the same company, so Taco Bell. And
but it's smart because you know, like I know people that will probably go to Taco Bell just because they want the Baja Blast because you can't get it anywhere.
We have a Baja Blast flavored pre-workout.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Wait, you do?
Yeah.
Keenan's gonna be like, I'm gonna need some of that.
Yeah, I'll probably stop
Bangin'
by.
Baja is what it's called.
Really?
Yep.
Is it a low, medium, or a high?
It's in low and high.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd probably take a low step.
Yeah. But the performance of it, it's the same one you have, but it's in.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, so I mean, are there any good supplement drinks though? Like, are there any that you would actually like? You would say like, this is a good drink. This has stuff that your body needs.
Nutrishop has one called Loud. That's really good. But my favorite out of all the energy drinks yet supplement drinks is probably Ray's. I think they're probably the best.
I've never even heard of them.
Yeah, they have really good flavors. They don't taste like a tin can, and they actually care about their product. So I really like Ray's.
Interesting. Okay. I know Prime.
Yeah,
That
I've
one's
heard of
very
too.
popular. I've never tried it, but
I'm just so disappointed in Celsius right now. Like they got sued twice.
I don't even know Celsius. So what is Celsius?
Celsius got popular
do
quick.
Do you know this, Keenan? Do you know about Celsius?
Yeah, so Celsius just lost a lawsuit to Flow Rider.
Yeah, that was the first one. That was the first
I
one.
did
yeah.
hear about. I read an article. I didn't. Okay. Well, how do they?
No. He knows more than me, probably.
Really?
Well, I know that they told him he was going to get something right for doing their promotions or something, and then they never owned up to what they said. But and so
I'm guessing they used his music in some kind of advertisement or
right.
something like that.
I'm assuming it was something like that, but he never got what was promised. And
Okay.
so is what I heard. And then they also got sued, I think, for what was in it.
So on top of that, they screwed
yeah.
somebody over, and then they decided to put unhealthy stuff. Probably
Right, or just not put what was said.
was said. Okay.
Because they just send it off to these labs and they test it. And if it's not in there, then they're obviously breaking
Right.
the law.
Which they can
right.
fake their own probably lab reports. That's why I liked Whole Foods, is because Whole Foods, to be in there, Whole Foods does their own third-party testing.
Mm-hmm.
So to like, if you say this, and this, and then they do it, and they're like, you don't have this, you can't get into.
Well, the people that shop at Whole Foods are probably not the ones to tick off. So they probably have to, because those are very particular people.
Yes.
Right.
And I would say that most people, Whole Foods is not the cheapest place
Right.
either. So like,
That's what I'm saying. Those are the people that
tax
you
bracket,
don't want to. Yeah. It's not like
They
you
have
do
no
the same
problem
thing at Dollar
complaining.
General. Yeah. Whole Foods has to follow the same. They don't have to follow the same guidelines as everywhere else because they actually get a microscope on them a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I guess going back to like having a new person come in, like, and I know everybody's going to be a little bit different, but as far as people listening now, I mean, what are some of the things that you think people that are, let's say 3, 4, 5 days a week in the gym, they do some cardio, they do some lifting. What are some things that they should incorporate into their daily routine supplement wise that you think would be good for probably the average person? I know for a lot of people, creatine monohydrate, creatine's really good.
Creatine monohydrate is the most studied supplement that's ever been and is the most proven.
Right.
So everybody should be on that. Yeah.
That's technically something you could be taking without even working out. Like it would
of
have
course.
benefits for your body.
It's straight
Not-
energy. That's
right.
that's what people don't understand. It is at the cellular level energy that converts into ATP. That's what creatine
Right.
is. And so your body does it itself, but when you introduce it through diet, which we do get it through diet, even if you're not taking creatine supplements.
Right. A lot of meats,
It's
a lot
just
of red
not-
meats
right.
are high in creatine.
Correct. And it's just not enough.
Right.
And the more you have, like I said, it's like I can go to the mall, but I can go to the mall a lot more efficiently if I take a car.
Right.
And that's the same way as like if you're taking creatine. So your body needs these building blocks to be able to perform. It can do it without it, but it struggles, and you don't want it to struggle. You want to provide it what it needs.
Right.
And that's what creatine is. And the same thing with the L-carnitine. L-carnitine
we
is
talked
probably
about that
the
a
most
little bit the other-
important with
What is
creatine.
L-carnitine again?
It uses fat as energy, basically, at the cellular level. So
Does it also help with sleep or relaxation or something?
not necessarily. It's energy based.
I'm thinking of some. Is there another L-theanine?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
calming.
That one's what I'm thinking of.
Right.
Okay, L-carnitine and L-theanine are two different ones.
L-carnitine is, and also what people don't know about L-carnitine, it's really good for heart health. Because like you said, your heart is a muscle. It really utilizes fat, your
Okay.
heart. And so that's why good fats are really good for your heart.
Like a avocado or something like that.
Yeah, right. But L-carnitine actually helps provide that to your heart. And people don't
So
know
is that a supplement that you take by itself, or is it usually like intermixed with other
You can
good
pair it
ingredients?
with anything.
Okay.
But the best time to take it is before you expend energy, obviously.
So you would take it before a workout?
And creatine and L-carnitine go really well together.
Do they put L-carnitine in pre-workout? Is that still
They
something?
don't. They should. Some do, but they're more like fat burning pre-workouts.
They're not okay.
But honestly, it's not necessarily bad to put it in a pre-workout. And we used to have one called Overtime.
So if I wanted L-carnitine, at least through you guys, I would just buy
L-carnitine, and you can
you
pair
would
it with
buy it
anything.
as itself, and then you could pair it on
You
your
can
own.
put it in
Yeah.
pre-workout. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And so you're saying that it helps with energy expenditure. So is it gonna give you more energy going into a workout then?
Yes, actually it
theory?
does. It not even in theory, in function.
Okay.
It does.
Is it similar to beta alanine then? Where beta alanine helps
Beta alanine's
it
more
helps
endurance.
okay.
And the funny thing about beta alanine, people don't like it because the tingle.
Yeah, the tingle sucks, man.
You're feeling your nerve endings. Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, if I'm in the middle of a good workout, like if it hits me before I start working out, then it sucks. But if I'm in the workout,
as
and
soon
it
as
hits
you
me,
start doing something, it does. You kind of lose that feeling. Like as soon as you start using,
you'll feel it
it
for a second,
right,
but then it's not as bad.
it goes away. And once it gets saturated in your system, if you take it every day, you don't feel it anymore.
Oh, really?
A lot of people don't know that.
I've never been that.
And the key is keeping beta alanine saturated in your system. That's how you maintain that endurance. And that endurance doesn't come from, I'm going to work out for 45 minutes now. That's not how beta alanine works. Beta alanine takes a 60-second exercise and turns it into an 80-second exercise. So you're not giving out. That's what it does.
So, but is it something that needs to be taken before a workout, or could I wake up in the morning, take my creatine, take my beta alanine, and then when I work out,
it's most beneficial before you expend energy because of ATP.
Okay, because of the ATP system. Okay,
but it does have to stay saturated in your system.
well, that's why I was wondering. Kind of with that's why I take creatine every morning, or before a workout or during a workout, because it's like the thing I'm not going to forget when I wake up. Like this is what I do when I wake up, so that I can go on and get that saturation of the creatine in my body each day.
Right. But the reason why people take it before exercise isn't anything other than absorption rate. That's why people take creatine before or after.
Because they think
you absorb it better.
You absorb it better. Okay.
Because when you're more vascular, the blood is flowing a lot faster. You're going to absorb things more rapidly.
Yeah, between the TRT and the creatine,
It's
my veins.
right.
And my veins pop like crazy. I'm guessing those
TRT,
are I'm guessing
yeah.
those two things are the main reason why I'm so veiny.
Oh.
Like I get comments from people in the sauna all the time, like, "Oh man, I want to be veiny like you," but I genuinely think it's just the TRT and the creatine.
Creatine probably does, creatine could because you're getting a lot more intercellular.
Well, you got that water, yeah. So like, I would think that would make
helps.
certain things look fatter.
But you're probably just leaning out. The leaner you get, the more veins you have. But TRT also is injected into a vein. So,
Right. Well, it makes the idea is that it makes the vein a little bit larger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that therefore you can get like a larger amount of blood flow through.
Vasodilation.
Yeah.
That's usually what NO does. And that's oxygen, basically.
Okay.
Because blood is oxygen for you. And that's why it works so well with endurance when you have more nitrous oxide in your system.
So creatine, L-carnitine, or you would say were the two things that you think anybody that especially is in fitness should be taking on a daily basis.
Anything that can keep you anabolic is the key.
And you feel like that's kind of, in most cases, across the board for most everybody.
Yeah, and I would incorporate ashwagandha in that because people underestimate the stress of the gym. It's not just mental stress, it's actually physical stress that your body can be under, because your body can't tell the difference between you lifting weights and it being fun or if you're under some sort of stressful dungeon torture. Your body doesn't know the difference. So that's
But you would be putting out other hormones into your body if it was like dungeon torture versus the lifting, right? Because of
adrenaline.
the way, right. So you would.
But adrenaline gets released in the gym too. So it is regulating that cortisol level, lowering those cortisol levels is very important to regulating hormones. The stress from working out raises your cortisol levels too. It's not just I have bills due this week or I'm stuck in traffic.
Right.
It's lifting heavy weight can also raise your cortisol levels. And in these days, for some reason, cortisol is out of control. I guess because maybe the only thing you had to worry about was getting eaten by a saber-toothed tiger.
And for people out there that may not, and you might be able to do a better description than me anyways, what are cortisol levels and how they affect your body, just in general?
So, like I said, your body with cortisol levels, that stress level,
Right.
when it can't tell the difference about what's stressful and what isn't, it goes into fight or flight. Like I said, being stuck in a dungeon, your body's going to start doing things to protect itself because it's in defense mechanism.
Right.
So when those cortisol levels rise, it's going to raise that bad estrogen, start storing fat and eating into muscle instead for energy, because you can only live off what your body provides for energy.
Right.
And so if you're eating food and it thinks you're in a state of emergency, it's going to pull energy from muscle and store that food for later because it's thinking, I might not get another meal. When your body goes under this much stress, it adapts to basically fight or flight. Like it's a surviving mechanism. And so that's why cortisol levels are bad.
Right. So the higher they are,
The more your body adjusts to...
And your cortisol levels are going to be higher the more stressed out you are.
Correct.
The more uncomfortability your body is.
And it's not even... See, stress, you can be under stress and not show stress.
Is that why people have problems sleeping sometimes at night? Because their cortisol is like they're so stressed that they're... Oh, I'm saying, would a high cortisol level cause issues with sleep at night?
Of course.
If you couldn't get that cortisol level down.
Correct. Yes. By default. But it's a lot of variables.
Right.
Yeah. But that's one of the main variables.
Okay.
But like I said, you want your body functioning as optimal as it can. So why not do these things to help it? Because it's going to do it anyway. It just struggles doing it. And there's ways to manipulate your body into doing what you want it to do. I do it every single year. Every single year I lose weight, gain 30 pounds of muscle every year.
When do you start working out again? You said you're off for like 3 months every year, right? You take 3 months off. When does that 3 months end?
January, usually, like everybody else.
So okay,
Right.
so you're back at it now,
Right. And so I'll put on weight fast, but it's good weight, and
but there's also that muscle memory there, right? So like there's definitely 100% like if you've had that 30 or 40 pounds already on your body at one point in time,
it's so much easier to put it back on.
Exactly. So like your body's just a little bit more conditioned. Well, I mean, you and I talked about it. Like that's the what is it? Said passivity. The said passivity is like I'm trying to remember, but it's your body will adapt, right?
It will.
Like because you and I talked about how you like to do an upper body day, lower body day. So do you do? I'm guessing you'll do what 2 or 3, 4 days in a row, take a day off, 2 or 3, 4 days in a row, take a day off.
I'll probably work. I honestly work out about 6 days a week when I'm putting on pounds.
Did you take a day off in the middle of the week so that you have that rest day in between the first 3 days and the second?
No.
Okay. You'll just do all 6 days in a row, then take like a day
People
off.
will tear me apart on my philosophies, but I have evidence to prove it.
I've talked to a couple different personal trainers about your philosophy.
Yeah.
No one likes it.
No one does.
No one does.
Everybody hates it, but they can't deny the truth.
I got boot camp in March, so I'm doing that. And then I think I'm going to do an 8 or 12 week program. I might even get with you just to get some ideas, but I'm going to try it.
You should.
I love trying things.
Well, if people do it, they'll see results. And that's the only thing people care about are the results.
Exactly. So I'm willing to try it. Because my favorite workout to this day is 4 to 6 exercises, 3 sets of 8, as heavy as I can go for whatever body part, right? Doing a split. So, but I love trying new things. I'm not going to...
If I will give you advice on the heavy as you can go, I need to know what that as you can go means.
So, okay. So 3 times 8, I'm literally going 100% of my full strength for 8 reps. So like...
okay. So here's my example.
Okay.
So if I'm curling 35 pounds.
Right.
And I'm getting good contraction at the top, but I can do 45 pounds, but I need to swing a little. That's the same thing as doing 35 pounds. There's no difference. Actually, it's worse for you.
What if you got to swing a little for the last couple reps? But you're able to keep pretty good. Because I agree with you. Form is everything. So if you're doing this
actually,
little thing...
that's not true. Contraction is everything. Contraction is the only thing that matters in an exercise.
Form and proper...
well, form is for injury. Not for gaining muscle.
Right, but if you're injured, you can't do shit.
Right, sure. Which you're going to lose all your muscle.
Right, so you got to get the form down first. But yes, I see what you're saying. Like, so usually I like a 3 to 6 count sometimes. Yeah. Like 3 down, 3 up, or like 6 seconds from full range of motion. Right. And honestly, I really think 10 seconds to 12 seconds is probably where you're at best in between reps. Or like 6 and 6. So 6 up, 6 down, concentric, eccentric.
Right. And like I was saying, like when you give out doing that and you can't do any more, that failure, that's why I talk about nitrous oxide and beta alanine and things like that.
It lets you push a little bit further.
Well, that's lack of oxygen to the muscle.
Right.
And so when you give out and you can't do anymore, it doesn't have any more oxygen pushing to that muscle. So therefore, if you notice, you wait 15 seconds, you can do it again.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
That's oxygen.
Yeah.
So people don't realize that. And so you want to give these things their abilities back. And so the more you can do that with supplements, the better it is in the gym. And people don't realize why they're doing things or what they're doing. Right. And I wish they would. I wish they'd come in and ask questions all day long.
Well, supplements can also be expensive too. So if we add in my TRT,
right,
whatever I get from you guys, and some of the other vitamins and stuff I take, I bet you I spend $300 a month easy. And
Yeah,
for some people, like let's put it this way: 2 years ago, I could not afford $300 a month.
Well, there's that picture that goes around where it says people drop $100 on drinks every night, and then they won't spend $100 on the supplement.
100%.
That'll last all month. It's that.
Oh, I totally
what
did
you
that.
care about, the most, and perspective matters in that regard. But yeah, budget really matters for a lot of people.
Because supplements are not cheap.
No, some of them are, some of them are not.
Right. But I would say the average person, if you could take the average person and be like, this is what you need to take every month, and it's free. Like
it's different male and female.
Right. So it's going to be different from person to person. And like you said, some people, certain supplements are not going to be as good as other supplements for certain people, right?
Correct.
Like I think we all agree that creatine is good, the L-carnitine is good, beta-alanine is good. That's going to be good across the board for both male and female at whatever amount of milligram they need to take.
And it depends on goals. It depends on goals.
And goals. But if you were taking the bare minimum, I bet it's still probably $80 to $100 a month in just supplements that would be ideal for your best optimization, right?
Right.
Or for the bare minimum optimization.
And honestly, weirdly, out of all the supplements I sell, people that take pre-workout are in better shape than people that don't.
I think people that take pre-workout are more serious.
I think they have
There's
a
a
routine.
level-
They have a routine. And I think, like, I've told this to people before, if you get a phone call to go eat, but you've taken pre-workout, you're more likely to not go eat and go to the gym because you took pre-workout.
If you didn't, you're bouncing off the walls.
Right. But if you didn't take the pre-workout, you're going to get tacos.
Right.
So,
or you'll go get a quick pump, especially if you have something at the house. Like you may cut your workout in half.
Right.
But you're going to go expend some of that energy because you're like, ah.
And I really think the routine of people that take pre-workout benefits them tremendously because when they take it, they go. They take it, they go. And it's
routine's important.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't take my you gave me you told me the I take the greens. And then I do like I said, the monohydrate and the cardigan or the I can't even think the name of it.
That one you showed me?
No, I do take that. I'm going to finish that bottle out, and then I'm done with those SARMs. Right. But I did some more research on that SARM, and out of all the SARMs, it seems to be the most, according to what research they've done on it, it's the most, one of the more harmless, the least harmless ones.
It's all synthetic. It's just trying to get your receptors.
But no, I'm thinking of what's in glucosamine. This
like the conjoined?
Yeah, there's
like
what's the main ingredient of glucosamine?
Glucosamine is that you're talking about like Rejuvix?
I can't think of the name of it. It's like a powder that helps grow your fingernails. And
collagen.
Collagen. That's what I'm thinking. Isn't that in glucosamine? Is that not in glucosamine? Are they two separate
they're all
things?
connective tissue.
That's about to say it's similar,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was thinking that collagen, but I take collagen, but I realized I was having problems taking those supplements, like, because I would just take them throughout the day. And I learned that if the first thing I do is I wake up, I take my pills, I take my TRT if I need to, my testosterone, and I go on and make a mix with your amazing bottles.
Right, yeah.
With the plastic piece at the top.
Yeah, and if you come shop at Nutrishop, you get one every time you come in.
I know. I've got like 10 of them already.
Right.
But I do those right at the routine, right? I won't do it if I don't do it right in the morning. So I've just gotten a routine, and thanks to your little
routine is so important.
Your little pill box that you gave me, it's my travel one now. I filled it up so it stays in my travel bag because I'm out of town every other week for a job.
Cool.
And so now I don't have to take my big one. I can just take the little one that you have, and then once it runs up, fill it back up.
Nice.
But without that routine that I realized, because I kept skipping, I would miss my TRT shot some days. I would just forget, and that's when I learned, like, all right.
And that's why it's so dependent on the person, because I don't know what people's lives are like. So I really have to ask questions about them. Like if they're a nurse or something, their routine's like.
So do you get that option with a lot of your new customers? Do you actually get to have that conversation on the average?
Oh yeah, I will always force a conversation, and they don't like it a lot of the
times.
time.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, are they like trying to brush you off and like, this is what I want, let me get out of here?
It doesn't matter. Like I have to do my job, and like we were having this discussion, like what's the most important thing to people, and we assumed like customer service, but I disagree. I don't think customer service, although I love customer service.
It's important.
It is important, but I don't think it's the most important.
Right.
I think results are the most important. And understanding why people are doing it is the most important. If customer service was the most important thing people wanted, then Amazon would not be so popular.
That's true.
So
because there is no customer.
There's zero.
It is, and I've talked to Amazon customer service because we sold stuff on Amazon way back in the day. I worked for.
They're better than most companies, but we just order and get the.
It's like 20 steps though to get to a chat,
right?
And then another 10 steps on top of that to get able to get someone on the phone.
Convenience seems to be the most important thing to a lot of people, but I think if you really care about someone, results and it working is the only thing that matters when it comes to spending your money.
Let's put it this way. If something kind of works or maybe works or they're not sure if it works, they might buy it again and try it again.
Yeah.
But if they 100% can say, I noticed a difference from taking this, do you think they're going to buy it again?
Yes.
Probably 100%.
Yeah, and that's
they're
why
going
it
to
matters.
keep buying it.
That's why it matters.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sort of against this whole influencer thing. Is because they don't even know what they're talking about, and they're just buying it because someone they know bought it. And that's not...
Or they're going off someone else's story that it was a result. So they go buy it.
Right.
They're the first weekend. They don't really have results, but they're going to say positive things about it because their buddy Joe over here said it worked amazing for them.
But Joe also got paid $100 and got free supplements. So it is not a good format for results. And like the other day, this girl comes in. She goes straight for the vegan protein.
Yeah, you were okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, why do you take vegan protein? And she says, I'm vegetarian. I said, whey's not meat. Whey is also vegetarian. Why don't you take whey? And then she got into more, it's more, I don't do lactose or dairy. And I'm like, well, if you isolate the protein, it's just the protein from it. There's no lactose or dairy. A lot of people don't know these things. And so now casein can be different with people. That's a very hard protein to digest. So you really have to ask these questions of why people take it because they don't even know why they take it. They have no clue why she's taking plant-based protein. No clue. She just does it because she thinks she has to.
Well, she's never had anybody tell her otherwise, right? Or she's had someone tell her something one time, and then she's never had anybody question that, or she hasn't questioned it herself. So why would you change it?
Right, and that's why I love to kind of get past those boundaries that people have because they're just coming in to shop, and I really want to know about them and what they want, what they need,
It's important.
It is super
But
important,
I feel like
especially when you're putting stuff in your body.
But if you go to the GNC, they'll sell me everything under the sun if I'm willing to spend the money.
If you want it, they'll tell you. They'll
tell you it works for me.
What's the best pre-workout? And you guarantee they're going to sell you the one with the highest stem, the highest pump, and say this is the most popular one. I didn't want the most popular one. I want the best one. Like if I need to know what exercises you're doing. If you're doing Orange Theory, I'm not going to send you out with a high stem pre-workout. That's not what that's for.
Because you're already at a high heart rate.
Right. Exactly.
Orange Theory guarantees you a high heart rate.
Yeah, right. You don't want to raise that up. You want, I would honestly say L-carnitine because I know why you're doing Orange Theory. Like that's calorie burning.
You want to stay in technically zone 2, right? So there's three different zones for heart rate. And so like the highest zone 3 will cut into muscle and fat at the same time. So there's like, from my understanding, there's a theory that not a theory, I think it's science, that if you stay up above one heart rate, but underneath another heart rate, you will burn more fat off your body versus fat and muscle or not that much at all, depending on what zone you're in.
I think there's variables that
there are probably variables,
that, yeah.
But the idea of Orange Theory is to put you into a high zone 2 and try not to cross over into like a zone 3, which you're going to probably do it depending on how hard you're working, but you'll burn a higher amount of, you'll burn more fat at a longer period of time in zone 2. You'll burn fat and muscle in zone 3 if you stay into it too long.
I don't necessarily agree with all of that. I understand their philosophy, but that's mainly diet.
This is also what they taught us in school.
Right. But I mean, that diet has a lot to do with that. If you're not ingesting, like you can go do whatever you want to, but if you don't have the right food in you, it's going to pull energy from somewhere else. That's why, I mean, bodybuilders carb load because they don't have fat to burn.
Well, I would also assume that if you eat a lot of fatty food, sugars and stuff like that, your heart rate could potentially be higher than it needs to be due to just the food itself.
There's a ton of variables than saying this is the way, you know.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess you could think of a food as just a supplement, and you're putting crappy. It's like if you put a bunch of Reese cups in you, that's just a lot of really bad supplement, right? But if you're putting a bunch of vegetables and like good white meat, then like that's a good supplement for your body.
True. I agree. And some people but still, even that depends on like diabetic and hypoglycemic. So it's you really have to understand the person before you just designate this is best for you.
Which is important, right?
Right.
And that kind of goes back to customer service and results with the way you work with Nutrishop, right? Have you been to other Nutrishops? I'm guessing you've been to multiple ones over the years.
That's how I found out about Nutrishop.
Do you feel like they have this? The other owners or other employees that you've seen at other ones have a similar mindset, or are you unique in that way, or is that part of the culture?
That's the culture
with Nutrishop, right?
It's like if you're going to Chick-fil-A, you're getting that good customer service. If you don't have that good customer service, you're not working at Chick-fil-A, basically.
Right. Why do you believe in Nutrishop over other brands, right? Because everyone has...
They follow all the right steps.
And what are those steps?
FDA approved ingredients.
So
is huge.
Literally, is everything approved by... I mean, like everything that you have in your shop... Or that is Nutrishop brand is all
Nutrishop brand. Yeah. If you carry third party, they don't have to follow the same guidelines that we do.
But I do have to admit that doesn't say a lot because there are FDA passes. They push a lot of crap.
I agree with you, and they shouldn't. Like they took away they took away N-acetylcysteine from supplement companies, and there's 0 side effects to.
What is that?
It helps your lungs and it helps your liver. It's like the most beneficial thing for your lungs and for your liver. And
it was in a lot of supplements at one point in time?
Yeah, people have been taking it.
Is it illegal now or something?
Well, they got a lot of pushback, I think, and so now supplement companies can carry it again.
But for a while it was
they were going to use it
substance?
They were going to use it for COVID treatment, and so they're going to make money off of it.
Oh, of course. So mainly now there's money involved. They're like, oh, okay, well, we need to.
It used to be a prescription, and then there were 0 side effects. You pee it out if you don't use it. So people would take about 900 milligrams for the glutathione from your liver to your lungs to help your lungs function, and it really helps lower respiratory.
I want some of this. So sounds good to me.
It's such a good general health supplement that a lot of people have been taking. Since the 60s, once it became a supplement. And it's the first time in history they took it back and made a prescription. And so there was a lot of flack, and I think now it's back up supplement.
Okay. So you guys are FDA approved, even though, in my opinion, in some cases that doesn't always
mean anything. But at least there's some standards.
So at least it's not going to kill you.
Right.
They're not going to probably approve something that's going to do real damage to your body, at least if they knew that it did it.
And our formulator only uses clinical studies, like if it's proven to work.
What do you mean by that?
Like if we're using sodium D-aspartic acid to produce testosterone, it's at 3.12 grams. The study that proves that it works. If we're doing L-carnitine in a supplement, it's 2 grams. The study that works.
So you guys are basing your mixtures of supplements
based on the clinical study
what
results.
We know science-wise.
Correct.
Even if technically the science could be wrong.
Right.
If it's new science. Right. But at least you're trying to put the right stuff in your supplements that science says, okay, this is probably pretty healthy.
I like
or this
the way
works.
you think, because it can always change the next day. So
it can, but based on where we're at.
We follow these guidelines to where we know that these studies, when you use it versus double-blind studies, or when you use it versus a placebo, when you don't, and people don't know they're taking it, and that you see the results that you're trying to get from taking these supplements. And L-carnitine is it's a known amino acid.
Right.
Like it's in a lot of meat that people get. And if you look at carnivores, you look at science, and the fitness world steals everything from science. It really does. It was science first.
But that's how it should be, right?
Exactly, because you're wanting to stay in shape. But if you look at carnivores, they're constantly moving, and they have 0 fat, but they're all jacked muscular. How are they not eating into that muscle for energy? If they're moving and hunting all the time and they only eat meat, so they're not getting carbs to burn, how are they not eating into muscle?
Now, are we also talking about we're talking thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago?
No, we're talking about now.
Okay.
Now.
I didn't mean if you meant like carnivores of like hunter-gatherers, like moving around.
No, we're talking about this is what carnivores do. If you look at
in general.
Right. If you look at them, they're jacked in muscle and they don't burn into it. How is that possible?
Have you seen some of the carnivores around Lexington? Because I might have to fight you. Beg a difference on that.
People also make
but I understand
argument,
what you're saying.
But right, they don't eat into muscle even though they're running and moving and everything. So it's L-carnitine that's doing that. And so when science looks into this and understands why, then the fitness world steals that. And we always have.
Well, and I hope that continues to be like that, because for me, at least science has some kind of basis, right? Even
Right.
if we know 10 years from now, we're like, oh, well, that science was wrong.
Sadly though, the steroids that people use today, like the anabolic steroids that people take illegally,
Right.
that's also science. Those were tough studies done for like breast cancer medication that now they take for bodybuilding. So it's still science. It's just not used for the thing it was created
Right.
for. There's a side effect that be like, oh, well, I can get big on this. And then they do that.
Right. And I mean, but there also have been a fair amount of bodybuilders like, Arnold and Lou Ferrigno and stuff that, I think for the most part, they have decent quality of life, but they've also spent
Agreed.
their whole entire life
Studying.
they've probably had someone doing their blood work, right? So they've constantly had, I think that's the difference between just taking a steroid, like taking an illegal anabolic steroid, right? And doing it out of your house or whatever, buying it from Joe Schmo
Right.
down the road versus taking it and then getting blood work done and like always tracking because you have a better
science
chance
to it. And he followed the science. And no one can say that Arnold Schwarzenegger took steroids and didn't work.
Right, because steroids are not just going to put muscle
Right.
on you. Like,
He worked harder than people that didn't take steroids. And he just added that to
right,
it.
he needed that extra. He needed that car to the mall.
Well, he wanted to win Mr. Olympia. And so,
He won it a few times.
yeah,
He's-
it's probably the greatest that's ever been, in my opinion.
him or Ronnie Coleman.
Ronnie Coleman?
Ronnie Coleman. I mean,
Yeah.
at his best. Have you seen?
Yeah, Bastrop,
Oh, my
Louisiana.
God.
That's where he's from. My aunt and uncle are from Bastrop, so they've met
Have you
him
ever
a few
met him?
times. They have. I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah. They say he's such a genuine nice guy.
But look at his body now.
I know.
I mean, like he's in a wheelchair or he's
Yep.
on those arm things to help walk. Like he's
Yep.
had all these. He's had because his body had. Well, I think he made it too big. I don't think his frame could handle
There's
it,
a lot
and it
of
broke his frame.
It does do that, but there's a lot of ligament damage from a lot of steroids. It eats into your ligaments pretty bad and damages them.
So he's kind of.
I don't know if that's his case,
Right.
but I know it does that.
But, so you think some of his health issues or some of his physical issues probably have to do with steroids to a certain extent, at least somehow?
Some side effects from it, but also being too big. Your body can only handle so much.
He was
right.
He was bigger than Arnold, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, but Arnold had one of the biggest upper bodies I think I've ever seen.
The way he looked, right? The
Right.
way he was cut,
Right.
it for his body, it just looked so good, right?
Plus he was tall. And
Yeah.
that helps. I mean, I think he's 6'3" or something like
And
that.
then,
So
and I think on top of that, his personality, like he had same thing with
was
Ronnie
confident,
Coleman.
yeah.
Actually, he just had such a fun, exciting like. You wanted him to win,
Right.
Because you liked him as
you
a
do,
person,
yeah.
And
it was
that
kind
always
of like
helps.
the opposite for a couple of other people. Like there's the Phil Heath that he got on people's nerves.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think you have a better chance of
But he still
success in
won,
life.
but-
well, right.
Right.
But there's something to be said about connecting with the everyday man. Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And it helped him. So, but yeah, so you guys have, I mean, so how many supplements, do you guys carry every supplement? Do you personally carry every supplement that Nutrishop offers?
Yeah, we do. There's a couple that I probably don't sell as well,
Right.
but that's based on stores. That's not never necessarily based on the supplement. That's based on some areas like certain things better than other areas. There's some stores that sell one thing way better than I do, and so it just really depends on what I like too. Like
Okay. Because you can pick and choose, right? And you could technically sell other third-party products if you wanted, right?
Yeah.
They
and a lot
don't-
of Nutrishops do. I don't.
Right.
I don't find a need in it. And if I did have them, it would just be to say, here's this supplement that you like, but you should take this instead. And it's not because I'm trying to sell my brand. I mean, it's probably the same markups business-wise as I would get from Nutrishop. It's just I really don't like third-party supplements. I don't trust them. I also understand their scheme that I do not like
Right.
and I disagree with. It's like I get calls all the time from supplement companies that want me to carry the product.
Is there
And-
any product that Nutrishop doesn't make that you would be like, I would like them to make a product like this, or this is a supplement I wouldn't mind having in the store?
Yeah, and all I got to do is make a phone call. That's literally all I have to do, and we would work it out.
Really? So Nutrishop, they listen to their
Yeah, I'm good.
franchisees, and,
I
and
love
if you're like, hey,
Christian is our formulator, and
Okay.
he's
really? So you can reach out and be
I
like,
got his number on my phone. I'll call him.
I think this would be a popular thing. Why don't we have this?
And he'll tell me the reason why maybe he wouldn't or would, but he's absolutely a genius.
Really? That's really
you
cool.
listen to him talk one time and it makes you want to take supplements forever. you hear him speak about them because he's got a real passion. And he studied so many different versions, like in China and everything, and all these different things.
So he's looked at other cultures to see what works for them as well.
Mm-hmm. And he's just a brilliant man.
So they're always open to adding new products to their
All
product
the time.
line if they think it's something that's
and
worth
owners
it.
have a lot to do with that say so. Like all the owners of the supplement companies.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
How many? Do you know how many Nutrishops there are?
We're one of the fastest growing in the United States. So
Well, if you guys do everything you say that you guys do, I don't understand why you wouldn't be, right?
Because a lot of them are, and that's easy to say because a lot of them are going the opposite direction.
Right,
The
GNC's falling apart.
Right,
I mean,
and Vitamin Shop's going the other way because they're going to Walmart and
Is there still a
online
Vitamin
base.
Shop?
Oh yeah, but they're primarily more like individual, single serving vitamins.
Well,
that
that's
people
the
need.
thing, yeah.
And
But
I think that needs to be a thing too.
We don't have one in Lexington anymore, do we?
We do. It's right by us, honestly.
It's still
Yeah.
over there? Oh, I thought it went out of business for some
It's
reason.
changed people like 4 times
Okay.
recently, I've heard, but I don't hold me to that. I don't know. That's just what I'm stating now, but that's what I've heard.
Okay.
But what I don't like about third-party supplements is they call me all the time, and other supplement companies might know this too. They call you and say, hey, will you carry our stuff? Will you carry our stuff? And they're trying to get their name brand out there, kind of like Bang did.
Yeah.
Then they do, and they get popular, and they get on Instagram, and they get online. Then they take your customer and say, here's the same supplement you can buy online for 50% of the price.
So they're just that's some sly shit.
That's all they do.
That's some
they
really
use
sly
you,
shit.
They use you to get their name brand out,
To get your customers.
to get our customers and say, now you can buy it for 50. I can't even get it. I mean, that's what I'm paying for to put in my store. So
Right.
why would they even come out when they can get it? And here, if you buy one, you get another one free.
So is there any other supplement companies out there that you know that you like? Like
Redcon one's a good company.
I think, was it BBN, Bear Nutrition?
Right.
Have you heard of him?
I don't know
Nick
if I have.
Bear. It's
I know Redcon one's they've always
So
been
you
a
like
pretty good-
Redcon, okay.
They've always been a good company. There's a few that stick to their guns, which I prefer, but they're all doing the same. Where online you can buy this for this much, you can buy this, and here's a free one, and we can't compete with that in store because we're buying them for the price you're getting them from online. So what's the point of me even carrying
Right.
them at this point? So I don't like that they do that. That's
Oh, that makes sense. I wouldn't be happy as a business owner. I would have a problem.
and plus I just think it's kind of dishonest.
Yeah, it's kind of like let's team up and do a workout class together, and then let me just kind of solicit all of your
Exactly.
people to come to my workout class and leave your workout class.
Exactly.
Like that. That would piss me off.
But
a
people
lot.
don't realize that's what they're doing. But that's
Well, no, because they're not in the supplement game.
right. But that's what they're doing, and that's why I don't like it. And that's honestly, that's not the only reason I don't carry third party, but that's one of the reasons I don't.
So, are there any supplement companies here in Lexington besides you guys that you like?
I don't know if really. There's these guys that tried to sell me a supplement, and they're very entrepreneurial,
Right.
And I really like their mindset.
It's not Tyler Benson's company, is it?
I don't know who that. Oh no, I know Tyler.
Yeah.
I know Tyler.
Yeah.
No, I
Because
don't.
he's got his own supplement too,
He does.
doesn't he? He has like a protein and some stuff.
I forget the name of it, but yeah, he does.
Yeah, because I know there's a girl that comes to our class. Her boyfriend lives in Louisville, and he's their lawyer and business partner. I don't know him that well, but
What I will say about other supplement company, I don't know about supplement companies.
yeah,
but
I was thinking more like next level, right?
Right.
So they're similar to you guys in the aspect that they carry different supplements that you can walk in.
Yeah, the issue with other, I don't see the claim of like we're the best. How? I can go on Amazon and get the same stuff that
Yeah.
you have. Like, how are you?
And I can read reviews. I can feel more confident in my purchase. If I know I want a protein, then I can go
exactly.
like read about the protein.
So how are you better than if you're just carrying the same stuff everybody else carries, or I can get it from online?
If you say it's better, maybe that will make them buy it.
Right. Like the only place you can get Nutrishop products that work consistently
Right.
is in Nutrishop or from NutrishopUSA.com. That's
So
it.
you guys aren't in any, like, you're not in any Whole Foods or Walmart or whatever.
It's just Nutrishop USA. That's
so
it.
you can only get it through your company.
And that's what I really like. I mean, because when you put that much effort and follow that many guidelines, you don't want people screwing that up for you.
Right.
You don't want like that Chick-fil-A culture being taken and like taking that name in vain and saying
Right.
you're not representing that company very well.
Chick-fil-A will shut a company. They'll shut a
Right.
franchise
if you're
down
not
if they don't
representing that name. And I think that's a good thing with Nutrishop. If you don't represent that quality, you don't deserve it.
because that's kind of their pedestal they stand on, right? Is that
Exactly.
supposedly it's a better product. I mean, I've been happy with the few products I bought. Granted, I've only recently started
Right.
buying
'cause
supplements.
we met, because we
but-
met at that school thing.
Yeah. But I have no reason not to buy all my supplements from you guys. I was pretty much just getting them from next level, and
Right.
And
next
I
level
like
is really
them.
I do too. I really like we comment back and forth on Instagram all the time.
I think they're probably one of the other good, like at least the
they're good
owners, the people seem like
they're
good people
really
over
good
there.
people, and they really care about helping people. And
Right.
that's all that matters. to
However,
me.
I don't like whoever bought New Health or whatever. Or
don't even get me started.
I don't. What's the name of their brand?
They're New Health. That's the
Is
name.
that their- okay.
With the NU.
Didn't you? Yeah, I don't know. The guy that owned it originally was awesome, Bryce.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
I've heard he was great.
He was like you, and
Yeah.
like I walked in, he was very knowledgeable. All of his employees were knowledgeable. Like I felt like even if he was lying to my face, damn, he did a good job.
Worth
He
it.
had me convinced.
Yeah, worth
like,
it.
but when he left, I didn't have a person because I didn't.
Right.
I actually met the owner of whoever bought it out.
New Health. I think his name is Cheyenne.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And nice guy and all, but I didn't feel the same vibe. I felt more like I'm here to make money more than I'm here to like provide a good product for the customer.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Which I get it. You got to your business. He owned 2 or 3 at the time, maybe 4
owns
now.
a lot.
He owns a handful
Yeah, he
of them
owns a
now.
lot. Yeah.
So I get it. If you're money hungry, go for it. Do your thing. It didn't fit well with me or sit well with me,
more of
so
the
I went
business side
elsewhere
for
to get
him,
my
and
product.
there's nothing wrong with being a business entrepreneur. There's
Hell no.
nothing wrong with it. Do your thing. That's not why I'm in it.
Right.
So, I'm not going to say anything else about New Health because
Well, you're right. I can, okay, but I'm not gonna.
I have a story, but I'm not going to get into it because it's not
shit.
very nice. So
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always down to hear
Although
a
it
good
is a
story.
podcast and it's like one of those newsworthy.
You can
but
tell your story if you're not worried about it. If any kind of reputation issue with him or
Yeah.
issue.
He's got more money than I do.
But
so
he
probably
seems like the
give him-
type of guy that would fire back at you
Right.
too. Like if he came across this podcast, he'd be like, "What the hell,
Right.
motherfucker?"
Right. He did already. Yeah.
Oh my god. No, I actually met them to do some social media work for them. So like that's where when he sold it to, or Bryce sold it to him, I was still buying stuff from them. But they like changed everything, and then I met him, and we talked about me doing some social media work. And honestly, I mean, we went our
Right.
separate ways. But I also did not have the best vibe. Like I don't know.
and to retract some of the things I've said, there's probably people that would say negative things about me too. So it's
course.
really, and there's some people that probably love him to death. So it's really just opinion based.
You have a friend show up there?
I know. Little
Just
cat
came-
jumped in my
he just
lap.
came over. Yeah, I mean, believe me, I guarantee you there's somebody out in Lexington that's been to my workout class
Right.
or like trained with me and, are
And
like,
doesn't like
fuck
you. Right.
that dude.
Right.
Like I don't like that dude at all.
Right.
So, and sometimes it's that one interaction, right? You have one bad
Exactly.
interaction with somebody, and they're
You
like,
get the,
fuck that
what is
dude.
that one chance to make a good first impression? Yeah.
So, but we have some cool people here in town, man.
We do. Lexington's a community, man. It's
It
a
is.
really
I mean,
good community.
we've got great meal prep. I mean, I've had Collins on. I've had Jack Nutrition.
Right.
We have good options as far as supplement. I mean, really, this is a thriving little town.
I wish the people that cared more about the people had more success than the people that don't care. But a lot of times that doesn't work out that way.
I think it's because the people that care, there's something that just they put off that people. I don't know what it is. It's like. What was it? The old thing, like a
Because
girl.
Jessica Jackson and Collins both care tremendously.
They like. I mean, like
They're genuine people.
their mission is to help people.
I know.
Like I genuinely believe that if someone walked into Collins' business or Jack Nutrition and was like, I am hungry, I need something healthy to eat.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even ask. They
And
would
you
like,
met
they would literally
Dale
just make
too. You met Dale next door to me.
Oh
with
yeah, just
Guru.
briefly. Yeah.
and just wants to help people.
So is he a personal trainer? He mentioned some female, or does his wife own that? Or
no, he owns that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his.
does his
and
wife teach a class or something? I
I
thought
don't
he
know
said
if she-
something about his
I don't know
wife.
if she does. I think she handles a lot of the business stuff.
Oh, maybe that's what he was
but
talking about.
It's
Okay.
his. Yeah.
They seem. I don't know. I rebumped. Is that his son that came in with him?
No, his
Who is
son
the
is
younger-looking
his
guy?
son is actually Wandale Robinson from the New York Giants. That's his
Okay.
son. Yeah.
Then who was the kid that was in with him? The younger guy that was in with him. There was a younger guy, right? That came in with him to the shop that day.
I see him in there. I don't know the relation.
Okay. Because I bumped into him at a bar like 2 days later.
Did you?
And he's
Nice.
like, yeah, we got to reach out to you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh." So it seemed like a nice kid, though.
Yeah, Dale's really nice, really genuine. He just wants to help people too. That's what he does. He comes from a pretty weird background, like
Right.
the rest of us, and so
But I do feel like people that, at least starting off maybe, that put more effort into other people, it's a little bit harder, right?
I think it is too. Yeah, I think it is. For one, I think the people that care so much about the community and the people that they're doing it for that reason, but they don't know the business side as well as somebody who's just straight business.
Right. Yeah. Well, I didn't get into this to get rich. Let's be honest. Like, I want to make money. I want to pay my bills.
Right.
But like, I have a client that
I'd
I know.
stayed in music.
Right. Like, you'd be
case,
doing
yeah.
good, right? Like, if you had, exactly. But like, I have one client and I know financially she just doesn't, and I only charge her like $25 an hour. Like, that was my original price, $25 an hour for one-on-one session when I first started out like 3 years ago. And so I've never changed the price on her. And I always tell her, because I know some weeks she just like, she needs to see me at least once a week. Because when she sees me, she's better with food. She's overall just seeing me helps her fitness wise.
Right. But see, you know that about this person,
Right.
which is the most important thing, because that might not work for everybody, but you know that
Yes.
person, and that's what matters.
But she can't always afford me, I think. Like,
Right.
she doesn't have that $25 sometimes.
Right.
She's got other things going on in life. And so I always tell her, just to get her in for the week, I'm like, if you can't afford me, just come. And if you can pay me down the line because you have more money, then do it. And if you don't, I got an hour to give you.
Yeah, but I'll. If you were straight business, you wouldn't do that.
No, you would
Right.
never do that, right? But I have other businesses. I have other forms of income, and so I'm not money driven. I'm
Right.
people driven. I'm more money driven on my production company where I do photo and video. I'm less nice, more ruthless on that. But when it comes to personal training, I think that connection and the way that we communicate with people and that we show that we actually give a shit and care, I think
Right.
that needs to come first.
I wish that society would work that way these days. I don't know what that Mayberry feel has left. You know, that community of, I know you're this guy that I go to, and you're
Right.
this guy that I go to. It's not like that anymore. It's, hey, fight for my business.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It was like, oh, well, Johnny Smith is $5 cheaper
Right.
down the line. I'm like, but I'd like to think that I
There's
have
no
a connection with you that
there's
Johnny Smith doesn't have.
Yeah, there's no community in that, but that's the way it's worked.
So-
and I don't.
That's
I'm
the one
old
nice
school
thing
in that
about
regard.
That's the one nice thing about CrossFit.
Right.
I love the mindset and I love the community in CrossFit. I'm not crazy about some of the workouts.
Agreed. I've always said that I think CrossFit was designed by chiropractors, just to get more business. Yeah.
You know, and I think for some people that's really what they need. Like, that structure works for them. But if
But you have to look at what's the opposite end of the spectrum for the people that went. Is it worse than what they're doing now? Probably
can be.
not. Right.
It can be.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. If
Like, you're gonna get a serious injury at some point in time.
But
in
if CrossFit turned them around from maybe like just binging on donuts and being
so
depressed,
that's
then-
the thing.
Right.
Is it worth the injury 5 years down the line?
Right.
But you're happier, you're healthier. It builds you a social life. Like,
Too many people discredit the opposite end of the argument, and they just like,
Yes.
right, and they should look at that too. Like, what were these people before they started going to CrossFit?
Exactly. And so that's what I'm trying to do with the classes that I teach, right? Is build a community of people. And it's my community of people. It's the way I think a lot of like the way things are run. This is my mindset. This is the way I perceive the world. If you feel like you can connect with that, like, let's roll with it. But I'm not for everybody. You
Right.
know, I think some people would come to my class and maybe not even finish it and walk out halfway through because it is so different than what other people have. And then on top of that, during the weekdays, there's a boxing class going on next to us. And literally you're walking around boxers, like
Right.
to get to do. So it's very chaotic and it takes a certain type of person, which I like because at the end of the day, if you have the mindset to just ignore the people around you and get the job done that you came to do, it's going to help you in the real world when that shit happens.
Yeah, discipline's super important.
Yeah. Thankfully, the military, I was Navy for 4 years. I don't think I would be anywhere near as disciplined if it weren't for that.
If without that initial discipline, I don't think anything really floats after that. Like, I don't think you don't get into the supplements, you don't get into the diet, you don't get into the exercise without some sort of discipline.
You have to.
I think that's
there's no way to
literally the
physically
first step.
work out without discipline.
Right. That's the first step of I'm going.
Not only there's no way to work out, there's no way, without discipline. I mean, really, you've got to have a little bit of drive in life. I think it's great for people if they can get into that.
I guess it's not even just about fitness. I mean, if you don't have discipline to do anything, you're not going to do it. Like,
right.
It not even fit.
But,
like, go to work.
Fitness can give. So, the military gave me discipline, right? Like 4 years in the military, it I mean, I still fold my shirts the way that they taught me at 18 years old. So it gave me discipline. So I think maybe for some people, fitness is their military in the aspect of like, it's taught them to stick to a routine.
I've seen it change so many people. Like,
but mindset's changed too.
Yeah, confidence.
Physically, how they feel.
Everything changed. No one ever looks back on the exercise they did and said, I wish I wouldn't have done that. No one does that. If you exercise, you're like, I'm glad I did that. It's never like you're not regretting you exercising.
Just come to my workout class and then tell me that you.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, but no, I know exactly.
But
what
everybody's
you're saying.
happy they did something.
Most people feel very accomplished and are not unhappy with themselves for
exercising. Yeah. The sad thing is just getting to go. That's the tough part is going.
Well, it takes 2 or 3 months of going on a regular basis. They say to get that
lifestyle.
Yeah.
It is. It's a routine, and the routine does help. And I think over making things too strict in the beginning for a lot of people turns people off.
Like, how do you take 3 months off? You don't go to the gym for 3 months, is what you're telling me.
Usually, yeah. I mean, I don't, but I don't have a problem gaining weight. I wouldn't if I did have a problem gaining weight. It's a lot of peace for me. It's a lot of I've been working out for a while.
And that may be the difference between me and you. Yeah. I've only seriously worked out for about 4 years and really been kind of in the gym for 10. Right.
It's just a season off. It's just like, and I have the ability, I know, and there's probably a point in life where I'm not going to have that ability, but as of right now, I haven't ran into it where I can get back in pristine.
Because I notice if I take time off,
7% body fat, all muscle, like I can get that in 3 months, like without a problem.
Lucky.
It's just,
it takes more
I've
than that
had
for me.
that ability for a long time. And so I kind of like to tease with it a little bit. Like I get out of shape and I'm not out of shape.
You're never out of shape, believe me, man.
I'm a healthy person, but it's just like, it's just my normal self. And like, I like going back to that normal self and then pushing it because I get before and after pictures.
I couldn't do it. I don't like who I become. Like I don't like the way that my hormone, I don't know what it is, but when I don't work out, let's say I take a week off, I don't like that feeling. Like I don't physically like the way my body. I bet you Jessica would agree with me over here. Like
she has to.
She can't take no break.
No, she doesn't break. No, she doesn't break. But she's seen me do it for 6 straight years now.
It would drive. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, it drives me crazy. Even I can't go for like 2 days.
Yes, it doesn't. Like there's something wrong with me.
I enjoy the peace away from it, but I also like the challenge of doing it again.
Yeah,
I love that.
Well,
and that might be my thing. Yeah, that might be my thing that keeps me going.
But in my head, I'm like, you're fucking crazy, man.
Yeah. And plus, it keeps me from not overdoing it. Like, because you have that body dysmorphia that kicks in that I don't want. Where you look at yourself and you see yourself small, and I'm like,
even though everybody else around you says you look great,
you're freaking huge at this point. And, I'm like, this is, I feel so tiny. And so then I get that break in 3 months, and I get to see myself normal, and then look back at the pictures of the previous year, and I'm like, I was freaking huge. And it's really great that feeling of like, because in that moment booster. I did not feel big, and it's very weird how your brain can play that trick on you, and I kind of have to rein it in. So I enjoy it.
So I guess you take what, October, November, and
October, November, December. Holidays. Yeah.
So I usually take Thanksgiving through the New Year's, first of New Year's or New Year's Day. I'll still work out, but I try to be very good about like, hey, if you don't want to work out today, or like you've got some kind of Christmas party and you're going to eat unhealthy, or like I tell myself that's my month of being a slob, right?
Your dirty bulk.
Yeah. Like, and so Usually I stick to 3 to 4 days a week, but there may be a couple weeks where I'm like hit 2 days that week because of like whatever I've got going on. Like I went on vacation. To a really close friend of mine's parents' house down in Alabama, and there was like no access to a gym down there. Well, they drink. They're drinkers.
Yeah,
they are drinkers. And so I spent like 5 or 6 days just drinking with them. Man, I could not wait. Man, that was the first thing. I got a good night's sleep when I got back, and I hit the gym the next day.
I can empathize though with people not wanting to work out every single year because I feel that. And
it does wear on you.
So I have to push myself through it. And so it really helps me.
You mean just like getting that consistency going again?
Oh, it's so hard.
Like that first couple of weeks of just getting your body.
You just absolutely hate it.
Because your body hurts. It's not used to being stressed out like this for 3 months.
And so I understand why people don't want to do it. And that's a good position for me to be in, is understanding why you don't want to. But also, if I can get those before and after pictures of like me every single year doing this, it can give someone hope of like now. Yet, granted, I do have supplements that I can get.
You've got supplements. You've got background in the
I also have muscle memory, which helps.
Yeah, exactly the background.
But if you get started, you can also get that muscle memory. Yeah. Like you just have to do it.
Mindset too.
I had to
You've learned your mindset. You've learned like, okay, this is what I do. I mean, it'd be a nice couple months off, but I also think I would eat unhealthy.
I'm not the biggest on diets.
Yeah, I will admit I eat better when I'm not working out than when I do, probably. Because I think subconsciously.
I think that's a man woman.
Like, you know what, I can have this Reese cup.
I think men consider themselves to being able to make it back up in the gym, and women don't tend to do that. I've looked at the difference, and when they're working out, they're super strict on their diet, and then because they don't think that they can make it back as much as a man can make it back, and so men cheat on their meals all the time. I might in a minute, but yeah, it is. But men take those steps and they're not as strict on it. Women, man, I'm telling you, their discipline on diet is so much better than mine.
Jessica, pretty disciplined? You pretty disciplined over there?
Yeah.
She's really good at it. I'm not that good at it.
I mean, I'll take breaks. I'll take breaks of being disciplined for food.
Yeah, I take like 5 breaks a week.
Yeah.
Right. 5 breaks a week. Yeah.
I eat good 2 days.
I take 3 breaks a day. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think I would be worse if it weren't for Jacked and Lean. Or Lean Feast, because like sometimes I feel guilty. I'm like, all right, I need to eat healthy next couple of days better, and so I'll just go get food from one of them, and I'll just stick to their.
She likes to cook too, so that helps. And she likes meal prepping. Yeah, I hate it too.
So, I'm also a single guy, so I get lonely at night sometimes. So the experience of going to the bar, getting a drink, having some food, I think it's more of a mental thing as much as it is, like, because I'm just like, well, what the fuck am I going to do tonight? Like, hang out with the cat all night? And I'm like, at least I can go to the bar where I go to the same 2 bars.
The best diet is just being broke. And then you don't get
oh my God.
People are like, what diet are you on? I'm poverty.
Yeah,
poverty's my diet.
I'm eating whatever I can afford or what someone's willing to give me.
Yeah. That's how I stay so lean.
That is true.
Yeah.
But honestly, the most successful diet, I mean, really, if you're doing a diet and you're serious about weight gain and like proper, like it's expensive. If you really think, if you're like what you probably have to eat when you competed, right? When you were competing, how many calories were you doing a day?
It depends on what the goals are, but like when you're cutting close to the end, it's just like you're eating asparagus and tilapia.
Well, I meant at your bulk, like you have a bulking phase, right?
Oh yeah, you have to eat so much food.
So what do you eat, like 3,000-4,000 calories?
Of course.
So what do you spending $30-$40 a day in the right amount of food?
And so
maybe not that much.
That's so hit or miss too, because everybody burns differently. Like
That's
calories,
true.
Calories doesn't even mean fat. Yeah. Did you not put any Coke?
I put no Coke in there, and I just drank straight rum. Woo. I just I thought there was Coke. I don't know why.
It's so dark, it's confusing. Yeah.
I looked down, I'm like, wait a minute.
They're the same color. Yeah.
I just want to taste. Woo.
No, but it gets like, if you look at Thor, right? Hemsworth, when he had I think he was eating, I don't know if it's
4,500 to 6,000 calories a day.
He said he was up to like 9,000 sometimes.
I never read that.
I don't know if that's possible. Like, how do you get that?
So we did
honey buns.
COVID year. We did his the first Thor movie. For the first 8 weeks, we did his program, and then we did the one for the second, or how many are there? 4? The second or third Thor movie. There was a different workout plan that they had. We didn't follow the nutrition part. We just followed the workout plan that we found. It was probably on like Men's Health or something like that. And I mean, I put some muscle on. It was a good program.
I don't believe that they don't take stuff though. I mean, they take stuff.
They have to.
Yeah, they take stuff.
Well, what we needed, Plates and Dates, Dates and Plates. What is his name?
The one you were telling me about,
the one I bet you he has a breakdown. I mean, he pretty much called out the Liver King before the Liver King was.
Oh yeah, you can tell.
He literally was like this, and this, the way his abs stack up a certain way, and I was like,
telltale signs to tell who's taking steroids and who isn't. And it's pretty obvious on a lot of people.
But he really did have a lot of people.
If you're gaining muscle size in your 50s, you're on steroids. That's just, let's knock that. If you're The Rock and you're just gaining size,
right? That's
steroids.
Well, yeah, and I think The Rock's admitted. Like, I don't think he's ever tried to hide.
He used to admit it. Now he's back to not admitting it. I don't know.
Really?
If it's I don't know if it's.
He's definitely.
John Cena is on steroids. We all know
100%. John Cena's on steroids.
These things. We can't pretend to be like these guys are natural because that gives a bad name to people who try really hard naturally and can't do it. That's just making them look worse,
right?
And making them want to use steroids because they're like, I can't keep up.
Well, Chris, he has to do something, right? At the very least, he's doing TRT or like some kind of peptide, like growth hormone.
Right.
He may be doing. I don't even know all the different anabolics, like the major popular.
I have to study those too. I know all of them.
That's about to say you probably.
Sides,
So what's the best one? What do you think? Like, is
it depends.
Besides TRT, besides TRT, what would probably help with recovery and muscle growth the most with the least amount of side effects outside of TRT? Because you would say it's probably the best, right?
I think side effects are based on the person because there's some people that will not get a side effect at all, and there's some people that will. So it's very different.
So it's like if you're allergic to something or not, in a manner of speaking, like some people can't do penicillin pills.
I think honestly, probably Anavar is probably the safest. Is what I would say. That's the one women take.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
So it's a low.
Did you take them at all when you were competing?
No.
So you were all natural.
Oh yeah.
Did you only compete in natural bodybuilding competitions then?
No. There's just normal competitions.
So there's none that are just.
I didn't do the natural.
But there is ones that are specifically like they'll drug test you and make sure.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, there are, and I did the ones in like Nashville and around that area. There's some that are in Kentucky now that are pretty good. Like I think Flex Lewis does one here. Okay. That's a really good one, but it's not clean. I don't really know of the clean ones. I've heard people do them, but I never really looked into them.
Right, because in the bodybuilding world, like steroids are accepted. Like for the most part, it's kind of accepted.
They say they're not. But they are.
But they're not drug testing you and telling you can't be Mr. Olympia, right?
You can't be Mr. Olympia without taking steroids. Right. It's not possible. I wish it was. It's not.
You wait and see.
And some of the people that I follow, like who I watch their diets and I look at their exercises, they're on steroids. I'm not. But it doesn't mean I can't take their advice, even though they're on steroids. Like Sadiq is like the dream size, like he's too big for me.
That would be stupid to be like, oh, this guy takes steroids, so he doesn't know shit.
Right. Like he still knows what he's talking about, and I still look at his exercises and I still look at his diets, but I know that he's on steroids.
It's like
but it doesn't mean I can't take his advice.
Right.
And I don't think people should ignore them because they are on steroids. They work harder than you do.
Right. It's like let's ignore Arnold because he took steroids because apparently that's the only way he got to where he was at. And like, no, fuck that dude worked. All it was is he was putting in 110% and he needed to help get that 100.
No, where I disagree is I think that sometimes you're taking their advice to be Mr. Olympia. And you don't need that advice to be Mr. Olympia. I need to get in better shape.
Right.
You don't need to be Mr. Olympia. You need to start somewhere.
I would be a great Mr. Olympia. Okay.
Right. I know. But like the normal person, the 18-year-old who's wanting to get in the gym and get in shape does not need to follow the Mr. Olympia workout.
Yeah.
He doesn't. For one, he's got testosterone already. He's anabolic. Let's just get in the gym. Let's do something. You ain't even got to really worry about diet that much. Let's just start exercising. Let's start there.
Do you guys sell... And I know it's pretty easy. I mean, just when you say the word anabolic, it's pretty easy to put your body into an anabolic state.
Yeah.
But what kind of supplements do you guys sell that? I mean, I know you guys sell some stuff that can help kick you into that anabolic state that works pretty well.
L-carnitine does that too. People don't realize that.
It puts you in an anabolic state? Mm-hmm. Really?
It's one of the main ones. Yep.
Okay.
But anabolic is just building muscle, losing fat. That's all it means. Catabolic is the opposite. Most women are catabolic when they get a certain age. It's just natural that they do that. Estrogen, they can't really help it. But you can manipulate your body into regulating hormones. You can do L-carnitine. HMB is really good.
Because that's something you guys have.
HMB.
So what is HMB?
It prevents muscle wasting. Everybody who's ever taken a steroid that's in bodybuilding, when they come off steroids, they get on HMB.
So that's what they cycle into after they're cycling off the steroids.
Because they don't want to lose their muscle they work so hard to get.
How much will that HMB help them maintain the full, like 100%?
Yes. Not 100%, but it doesn't decrease as fast.
Until they're ready to take their next stack, right?
So if they're off their cycle, they're taking lots of, which we have HMB in our body. The older you get, the less HMB you have. That's why your muscles deteriorate.
Okay.
So when you're supplementing HMB, you actually maintain that muscle. They even give it to like cancer patients on chemo so they don't waste away. So HMB is very important for staying anabolic.
So is that something that could be used for someone that doesn't even take, like someone that's more anorexic or someone that that has problems with putting on weight?
Yes,
absolutely. Like I got a buddy that I work out with, and he takes all this stuff, mass stuff. He's eating like 4,000 calories a day, and he just cannot put weight on.
That's his metabolism burning.
Well, and he lifts, right? So he's out there doing cardio and lifting, and like he's 23, but he's in great shape.
I can help him put on weight.
He's like the non-cut version of you. So he's like really in good shape, but like not like if he could put on like 10 pounds, he would look. Oh my God, he would look amazing.
I can tell him how. That's pretty easy.
Yeah. So maybe I need to send him your way.
Please do. I'll help him.
So HMB something like that would be good for him then.
He's probably wasting muscle. And
100%.
Yeah.
Like he has the ridiculous metabolism.
All right. So
I need that metabolism.
HMB is really good for everybody. Not the greatest tasting supplement, but you can disguise it. But it is very good for you.
Okay.
The other ones, protein is super important that people don't realize what it does for you in muscle protein synthesis. And
here's the problem
anabolic.
with, I think, like I don't take a lot of powdered protein. Right. I probably should do more.
Well, you can get it from food, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, what's the use?
Days.
Like, if you're relying on that, like
most people can't get it from food. Is why we supplement.
But well, I think some of it's most people just aren't eating healthy enough to get the right amount of protein. And so, like, I think it would be more important for them to have an extra 6 ounces of chicken that day than take a scoop of protein powder, right? In theory, right? It would be better to try to get that intake through food versus...
I think they're both equally just as good as long as they're good. They all do different things. That's the thing. Protein isn't protein. Like, just because it's protein doesn't mean it's building muscle.
Right.
Collagen is protein. It's the most abundant protein in your body.
It helps with the wasting of muscle by having more protein in your body, right?
Well, it's a building block for muscle protein synthesis. Right. When you tear down muscle fibers, it cannot repair without protein and the amino acid complex, the 9 essential amino acids.
So what's the difference between like a casein and a whey as far as protein is concerned?
So you don't waste out as much casein. It'll actually go to use. It doesn't mean that whey doesn't get used. It's just people take too much whey.
So casein's probably like better at night before you go to bed, right? Because it takes a longer
time to synthesize.
And I know a lot of people do cottage cheese, which has casein in it, right?
Cottage cheese is casein.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they do that before bed. But casein is, and you can get things from food. It's just so much easier in a scoop. I mean, you can get so much more in a scoop because it's just isolated.
If you're getting at least enough from other foods. The problem is I've seen people, I've even watched a guy do a YouTube video and he did protein powder only for 7 days just to see, and he lost like 6 or 7 pounds.
I don't even, for one, it depends on what protein powder. Like if he's just doing whey, that's all just wasted.
So you think it's possible to just to get your 200 grams of protein in a day if it's the right protein powder?
Yeah, I do.
Your body has to be one. Well, because all the other nutrients.
It's just small intestine absorption. So,
really?
Yeah. So
now I want to test this out.
So, and it's
see if I lose muscle mass.
It's honestly probably easier to absorb a protein powder with casein and whey and egg than it would be some chicken. Although you're going to absorb that too, but there's so much chicken that you would have to eat to get 34 grams. It's a lot of chicken.
Yeah, I know.
So
I don't care how good lean feast chicken is. There is a point where it's just like this is fucking chicken.
That's a lot of chicken.
This is dead fucking chicken.
Right. And that chicken doesn't taste like cookies and cream.
I don't care how good it is. You're right though. It doesn't have
right. But they're all the thing is people don't understand that they all do different things. People are like, well, I'm getting my protein from vegetables. That's not the same thing. That's not, but they do. I mean, but that's not the same. It's missing amino acids.
Right.
It's not a full, complete protein. And it'll never be a full, complete protein unless you're getting it from like hemp, flaxseed, or soy, which have tendencies to raise lots of estrogen, which is the opposite thing you want to do when you're building muscle. You don't want to raise that estrogen level. So it's very tough to, and people on the marketing side will disagree with me, but people on the fitness side will agree with me that vegan protein's not good for building muscle. It's just not. It's not non-essential amino acids. So, and whey is different than casein. Egg is different than whey. They all absorb at different rates.
Right.
Like I said, collagen is a protein, but you can't get big on it.
No.
So it is.
But it says it on the bottle like it's like a big thing, like 20 grams of protein.
Right. But you're not gonna. It's not gonna synthesize to repair and give you the building blocks to grow.
It's synthesized a different way.
Mm-hmm. And so it's. Yeah, the body is a weird thing. The body and how it works at a cellular level is very important to understand. You don't have to understand. I can break it down easy for you and say creatine breaks down to the cellular level and gives your muscle energy and transforms it. It transforms into a different form of creatine and provides explosive energy to the muscle. It does that without you taking the supplement. But when you take the supplement, it does it even better.
Right. Does is the creatine that you get in red meat, is it pretty much the same as the monohydrate that you're taking?
Yeah, it's digested creatine.
Okay.
Yeah, but we also create creatine in our bodies.
So is creatine synthesized? Like is it synthesized in a lab or is it pulled from food?
It's a synthetic.
So they figured out the molecule buildup that you would get from food, and they've been able to replicate it.
And there's different versions of creatine, but the only one that's really great is monohydrate.
The monohydrate is the only thing that you and I,
it doesn't mean crealkylin's bad.
It got expensive, man. What caused creatine to get so fucking... Because I feel like I was paying like $20, $15 for like a couple months supply.
Yeah, COVID.
And then like now...
What bothers me is that when it became so difficult to get, you saw everybody come in asking for, I want creatine HCl. I want creatine HCl. This is the new, greatest, wonderful... It's been around forever. Nobody's taking it. They were taking monohydrate. But when monohydrate got impossible to get... they paid these people to say HCl's the best. HCl's the best because no one could get monohydrate, so they had to sell what they could.
Right.
And then as soon as you can get monohydrate again, where'd HCl go? Back to where it was. It's not the best. You're believing these people who write paragraphs for a living. They don't work out. They're marketing majors.
Right. So then you read their paragraph and you go hit the Amazon link and you go, they get a cut from whatever, the monohydrate HCl that they went and bought, or the creatine.
Yeah, but creatine monohydrate is by far the best. And people are afraid of it because of water weight. That's usually why people steer clear of it. But the water weight is intercellular, and as soon as you stop taking it, it goes away. So...
that's something else that we should mention about creatine. A lot of people get scared because of they hear water retention. Mm-hmm. But it's good water retention,
yeah, it's
right?
Not in your face.
It's a cellular level. So what it's doing is it's like think of I don't know, your laundry soaking in the washer or whatever. It's like
it's actually keeps you from injury. It does.
But it allows for that repair, right? A better job of doing muscle repair.
Yeah, it does repair, it does strengthen, and it does provide a lot of endurance.
Which
means it does make your muscles look more full.
If you're doing creatine, you need to be doing water. Mm-hmm. That's
you need to be doing water if you're not doing
creatine. Seriously though, I don't know how many clients, like 90% of my clients, I'm like, you're not drinking enough water. And they're like, well, I should be drinking more.
There's lots of, so if you look into, I see a lot of people on a daily basis, and I really am, I observe.
How's that water coming over there? I see you taking a chug over there, Jessica. She's hearing me talk about what she's drank like 40 ounces of water since she's been sitting here.
I observe a lot of people and different traits of different people.
Right.
Women drink far less water than men.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even close.
I tell most
and women will admit that they drink far less water than men.
I tell most women 64 to 80 ounces because if I can get that out of them, then I'm doing pretty good.
But if you look at what women struggle in compared to men, it's because their lack of drinking water.
So you think do you think women should drink, like I shoot for 64 or 128 ounces?
Men have far less digestive issues than women.
So you actually think it's more important for women to consume more water than men, in your opinion?
No, I think they should just do it more like men.
Okay.
I don't think they should do it more than men. I think they should do it.
You hearing things
equal.
over here? Okay, good.
When you start drinking that, the toxins of your you absorb the same place you waste out.
Right.
And if you're constantly drinking liquid, you're constantly cleaning. You're on cleaning your kidneys, cleaning your liver, cleaning your intestines. It's better for your digestive system to drink water. And women have a problem drinking enough water, and so they have far more digestive issues than men do. Gut health you got to drink water. Like gut health is really important for depression and anxiety. Women have far more anxiety than men do. Now, men are starting to get a lot more anxiety than they used to.
We can't admit men cause a lot of anxiety to women.
That's true. Yeah. Well, there's variables in everything, but
yes, there is.
A lot of it is just a lot of these issues can be solved with nutrition and understanding why. And people are so sensitive to, well, that can't be true because I'm a woman and he's a man.
Right.
That can't be true. No, you have to really understand the reason why. You're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to understand anything unless you're asking questions of why. Why is this the case? And we're not doing that anymore. And I don't understand why. Honestly, why did we steer clear of it? Because you don't want to be offended? We need to really help people. We don't need to steer clear of it.
Yeah, I don't I'm not scared to talk to a client. Like this
like it puts me on edge to say women do this differently than men, and now I'm having to hold my tongue on that.
Yes. Okay. So that's what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah. That's a whole nother thing right there, man. I mean, it's a slippery slope. People are oversensitive. And I mean, you could have a female walk into your shop and you get talking to her and you tell her she needs to drink more water. She doesn't like that. And all of a sudden, you're attacking her.
Right.
You're being inappropriate.
It's just but
I don't want to.
I don't want to be. I just want to help people, and you can't deny that. I mean,
people just want you to help them in the way that they allow.
We're not different species, right? We're not different species. We're the same species.
Right.
We're just different versions of it, and there are different.
But people want to be 100% the same. Like there are women, and there's probably men too.
Like I heard someone say, my favorite thing about a woman is that she's not a dude.
Well, that dude's going to get tore down on the Instagrams and the Twitter. He probably won't have a life anymore.
Right.
Poor guy.
Right.
But
that's
where we're at, right?
Right. So it is. The pelvic bone is completely different between man and woman.
Yeah.
It's the only bone that's completely different.
It's proven that there's scientific proof that women are able to their lower body workouts are better than their upper body workouts in the aspect of like the way their body's built, right? Like guys can work their upper body. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And most guys you're gonna fuck leg day.
But it doesn't mean that men can't be bottom heavy too.
Yeah,
that's not what it means, but there's exceptions to everything.
Yeah.
It just means we're basing things on the majority of how things work. And you might not fall into that category. You might not, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
So you think we're going to get a correction on this, or you think it's only going to get worse? Like, do you think
people?
The pendulum swings. It's men too, though. I mean, everyone's getting sensitive now, overly sensitive about things.
It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid.
You could have a guy walk into your shop and probably still have the same kind of reaction.
You can't get answers without questions. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
And so we have to be allowed to ask questions of why.
Right. And I think if you ask a question that makes them feel uncomfortable about themselves, all of a sudden it's a personal attack. Like if they know they need to drink water more, but they don't, and then you just kind of like re-solidify, like, yes, water's important. Like all of a sudden they're like, oh, you're attacking me.
Like I said, you said, should women drink more water than men? I said, no, they shouldn't. They should drink the same as men. They just don't already. That doesn't mean there's not a woman that doesn't, but that means a majority of women do not drink as much water as a majority of men.
Hence why I found that telling women to drink 64 to 80 ounces usually works better than trying to tell them to do 128. Like they'll go from 40 to 50 ounces a day, and at least they'll try to, they'll uptick it a little bit for me.
That metabolism boost from drinking liquid, everything, like it's so much better for you. And it doesn't have to be just straight water. It can be something in water, like BCAAs,
That and people love. I've never been a fruit. What is it? Drinker of fruit juices.
Yeah.
I've never been a juice guy. Like it's just never been something that I'm not. I'll drink some juice here and there.
Right.
But
I occasionally
don't
drink orange juice.
I maybe drink.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I maybe have 30 ounces of juice in a year, 40 ounces of juice in a year of any given type of juice, and mostly like you said,
I would consider that
it's,
low.
It's orange juice,
Right.
And maybe it's a little bit more.
You go
but
to a hotel and there's like an apple juice dispenser.
Yeah, I don't even
Right.
do that. Like I
Right.
drink water or milk, right? But the juices that I do drink is usually through alcoholic beverages, so like a mimosa or something like that. But like, you know, my roommate might have some juice in the fridge, but I never. If I have juice in the fridge, it's because I was making an alcoholic drink with it.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably most people. Yeah.
But it surprised me how many people drink juice, man.
Yeah, I'm not a going out and drink.
It's like drinking straight. It's so bad for you.
It's sugar.
So bad.
It's a different type of sugar, just like there's different types of protein, but it's fructose.
That
you know?
and then trying to get people to go from
You metabolize sugars different ways, and so there's some that process differently.
And soda, people are. Oh my god.
Soda,
man.
yeah, soda's rough.
Just getting people to move over
And
to
I
diet
don't think
soda.
necessarily the soda itself is, because I think diet soda is like 95% water is what I hear.
Yeah, but here's the.
But the problem is it's bad water.
Yeah, so
It's high acidity,
if you keep
low
diet,
alkaline water.
if you keep diet soda, I think it's over 80 or 90 degrees for 1 hour, it turns into formaldehyde. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah, and it may be longer than that, but so
Is that
if diet
because of the
soda
preservatives
is,
or is that preservatives or?
So I watched a video on it. It is. I gotta. What is?
Because
What,
formaldehyde is basically preservative, right?
right.
Yeah.
Right. So but what is diet soda? What is diet soda made of? Like what
Sodium,
is it called?
aspartame.
Aspartame. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah.
So the aspartame turns into formaldehyde at a certain degree for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So,
So
like-
aspartame is sweetener.
Yes. So, but they knew this, but it's also. Can you look up how much more addictive aspartame is over sugar? I want to say it's like 100 times or 10
It's
times.
like-
It's some stupid number.
But it's also like
more sweet.
so much sweet. Yeah.
So
it's
much
more
sweeter than sugar.
Yeah. It's like 1,000 times sweeter than sugar.
But I guess
Because you have to use like 1/1000.
But if you're just leaving like a thing of Cokes out in 100-degree weather for multiple days, that will turn to aspartame. And then if you drink enough of it, I guess I'm sure there are deaths due to diet
I'm
soda,
sure.
but like we don't track that, or they're not putting that
there's
information
lots
out there.
of stuff we don't track.
Yeah, or we don't track on purpose because it's
Right.
like, oh, we had a 1,000
again,
deaths
you're-
due to aspartame this
The
year.
marketing major wins again. Yeah.
Did you look it up?
I can't get a number of how much, but this is saying.
It's it's a pretty high number.
Artificial sweeteners are likely to make you way more hungry and eat more throughout the day, and
For sure.
develop diabetes.
And I think they put
This is like you're like guy on Joe Rogan, where you're just like, hey, give me that stat.
that's
Whatever.
what Keenan is. But apparently Jessica's over here helping us. So
It's saying that like artificial sweeteners are 200 to 600 times sweeter than sugar.
yeah, I mean, think about that. Think about that. Sugar is already so fucking sweet, and then all of a sudden you're
You have
timesing
one-
that
you have
to
to-
something that's not healthy for you.
Well, the thing is,
Are
what they
more
do
unhealthy?
actually, it's the same because you're using one 1/600th of sweetener
Right.
in your thing to what you would use as one sugar.
Right.
So you're actually using less of it. That's why they use it, because you have to use far less to get the same
But
amount
it's
of
still
sweetness.
so much more potent.
Right, and there's connections to like dementia and things.
Oh,
too.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm kind of scared. So
Well, that's those long-term studies that we don't know about.
so
at
I
all,
would say our
right?
generation, right? You're 40, right?
Yeah,
I'm 36.
surprisingly.
How are you, Jess? Well, I'm not. I know better than to ask a female her age.
She doesn't care. She's 26.
Yeah, I'm a
Oh,
baby.
you're a baby.
Yeah,
Oh
she's
my
a baby.
God,
Yeah.
man. Okay, robbing the cradle over here.
Yeah. I met her after she graduated.
Fair enough. Smart.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't meet her in high school.
No, I wasn't a senior,
You weren't that
and
guy?
she was like in third grade. Yeah.
But where was I going with this? Oh, right. So I think our generation is going to be one of the first generations that consumed crap for as long as it has.
Yeah.
Like our parents' generation, they kind of did the fast food thing, but like our generation was the first generation that had soda. We had fast food. We
Yeah.
had artificial food. We had all this crap. I mean, remember Surge from like the 90s? Dude, that shit was horrible for you.
Jolt Cola.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Volt. There was one called Volt,
Volt
too, I
too,
think.
yeah.
But I think it's the first time that our age group, or the first time that a human has been on this crap. So like when we're in our 60s and 70s, I think that's when we're really going to see how McDonald's and Wendy's and
so
like
my age,
soda affected us.
So my age, like 40 to 45, has like been through both generations.
Right. So
they went through like pre-computers to after computers, pre-cell phone to after cell phones. Like it's such a weird generation, like pre-fast food to fast food, like
right, because I think fast food to me seemed to get really popular in the 90s,
yeah,
in the 80s, late 80s, and early 90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah,
now it existed like with like the drive-in, like they're more like Sonic.
People
style.
didn't eat it the way they do now. Like people were still cooking in the 80s and 70s.
They
and
weren't
like,
on every corner.
Right, and
like
now
people got to realize Subway. It has more brick and mortars than any other company
worldwide
in the world.
In the world, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's the number one. It's
on every corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know how they do that, but I wouldn't know that just by looking out the window. But they have more than Starbucks. They have more than Walgreens by a
They're the number one
shot.
the number one restaurant in the world as far as like locations.
Right. It's
And
so
the only
many.
reason I know this is because I do that trivia shit, and that was a question like, what are the top 5 most? And people like, and like I remember the first time we got it, and I was like, Subway's on it. There's like, no way Subway's on it. I'm like, Subway's number 1. They're not
Subway
just
is
on
number
it;
one.
they are number 1. They're like, no way. I'm like, there's
It's
fuck
not
ton
even
of Subways in the world.
It's not even close.
Yeah, it's. How many Subways are there? Look this shit up. We're putting you to work. We're putting you to work. How many Subways are there compared to like the next closest chain? Which I don't even think I don't even think McDonald's is number 2.
If you only do restaurants, like if you incorporate like Walgreens and stuff like that, they're pretty high, and Starbucks is pretty high. But if you're going like fast food restaurants, I don't think there's.
No, I think
it's
Subway's
close.
number 1 unless
Yeah.
someone else has snuck up on them.
No,
but a couple of years
no.
ago, I mean, it was like I want to say 20% more Subways.
I have this problem where I get on YouTube and I just watch.
A lot of people have this problem.
I just watch,
actually.
Yeah, but mine's so weird. I have one of these memories where I, like if I just watch something, I remember everything
See,
from
I
it.
don't. I'm horrible.
And it's just these statistics that roll. That's
Right.
all it does. It just rolls statistics throughout
wait, so
hundreds and hundreds of years, and I just sit there and
And
watch
you just watch statistics.
all day.
Really? So
I love
you're
it.
just consuming like straight verb or straight written information, I guess.
Yeah, I love it so much.
Like,
it's like graphs.
really?
It's just graphs that span over time.
So things stick with me if it's like a tidbit of information. I'm like, okay, I want to retain that. But like shit, man, I've forgotten like the names of people on the fucking podcast because
I don't do names. I don't because I don't hear them. They say nice to meet you. That's what I hear.
If you're
I
literally,
don't hear it.
I have only met you through text. Then our pre podcast meeting, if we had that. When I first started the podcast, there wasn't even a pre podcast meeting. I just had you on.
Right.
So like I'd have these girls. Because usually I get
And
more.
you wouldn't even remember their names when they're on the show. Probably.
Oh my god, man! It's
like,
so
and-
embarrassing.
And
like
you talk.
because there's like sometimes literally they walked in that front door. Outside of them answering a few questions that I've asked them about
Right.
their past, and someone else vouching that they're like
Somebody,
marathon
yeah.
runner or somebody that I would like to have on my podcast, fucking don't know who they are.
No.
like now there are a couple girls that came in and we talked, and I'm like, all right, I'm not fucking forgetting your name because that was an amazing story. Like
Right.
we had this I think it's Katie. I don't know her last name. Was it Katie? Did you get that answer for me on Subways yet? Yeah, I haven't forgotten. I'm putting you to work today, Keenan. I'll put Jessica to work because apparently my technician is struggling to give me some answers over here about Subways.
No, you start.
To me, not to him.
No, you
I'm
switch
talking to
subject.
everybody over there.
Okay.
Someone give me an answer.
36,900 Subways.
That's it? I thought it
And
was more than that,
100
honestly.
36,000 is a lot of Subways.
36, sorry, 3,600 is what I was saying. Okay, yeah.
36,000. That's a lot of
Yeah.
Subways.
What's the next closest thing?
Let
Does
me
it say?
I was looking at just Subway. I can look at how many McDonald's there are.
I think McDonald's is actually not even it's in the top 5, but I don't think it's 2 or
This
3.
is, I don't know how
I think
old
it's like
this is,
4.
but there's 32,737 McDonald's.
So look at
I
it.
actually think it is. I think they're number 2. If I'm
Are they?
remembering
Are they?
my
Okay.
rolling statistic YouTube
Yeah.
videos, I think they're number 2.
I think Pizza Hut
They
was up
were
there,
number
too.
1 for a while, McDonald's, but then Subway passed them in the 90s.
But it's just easier to put a Subway together than a McDonald's.
Well, they must have some sort of franchise agreement that's really easy to get into. Is my guess.
Well, you also notice a lot of Subways in America are run by non-American people.
Must be a pro. I mean, it could be a program. It could be
Yeah.
something that they do to benefit how easy it is to get into and own a
Right.
Subway, and that might be their market.
Well, also, I mean, like, Walmart used to have McDonald's in them, and now
Right.
every Walmart has a Subway in it instead.
That's true.
And-
I didn't even think.
Yeah.
You're right,
Yeah.
though. I remember as a kid
Walking through the
Yeah.
arches of McDonald's.
There's usually like
yeah.
a Ronald McDonald chair, like
Yeah,
a
where you
bench
sit
or whatever that you can
with
sit
a
next to,
creepy
like
clown,
with the crown in there. Sometimes you see the hamburger. Oh my god, man.
Yeah, and like every mall
Fucking
has
childhood.
a Subway in it. Like almost every mall. Has
Yeah, they all have-
Subways.
yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right. There is this in every Walmart.
There's also a lot of Dollar Generals.
Yeah, what is?
I think it's the number one store.
it's
not.
they're in a
restaurant.
lot of rural places too.
Yeah,
like
I
so,
think
like
it's the number one.
it's the closest thing out of, or it's the next best thing outside of like an actual supermarket
Right.
in a lot of places.
I think there's more Dollar Generals than there are Walmarts.
I could believe that. I could because and so when I lived in Montana, they built one in this really tiny town that I drove through all the time when I went to work, and I mean they had that thing up like. I
Yeah,
mean, it
from the-
amazed me how fast they put that thing up.
I'm
Like it
from
was
the sticks. Like I'm literally from nothing.
There's a
Like,
Dollar General though,
Yeah,
isn't
there's
there?
a Dollar General. It took a while to get one, but there is one there now.
Do you remember it getting built? Were you
Yep.
there when how fast did they build it?
It's in a tin building. It's made of tin.
That's what I'm saying though.
Right.
Like they have a format and they
Right.
knock it out in like 3 weeks, and
And
you
it
have a
always looks-
fully functional
And you
Dollar
walk
General.
into these, and it looks like a tornado hit it before you came in. It's like
Every time.
Why is it all a mess? And I don't know.
It probably looked nice the first week though.
It did.
And
Yeah.
then like, but yeah, you're right. Like you know, it's a good Dollar General if you walk in and things are organized, because there are some Dollar Generals you walk in and it's like
There's just
the
stuff all
fuck?
over the floor.
What is this?
Everywhere.
What is this doing here?
Yeah,
So true.
I'm from nowhere basically. I think someone asked me. I'm from Thaxton, Mississippi.
I have no fucking idea. What
No
that is.
one's gonna know.
No,
So
I have
it's
no
near
idea.
Oxford, where Ole Miss.
Okay, I
is.
know Oxford,
And
yeah.
then so people ask me, "Where's your house at in Thaxton?" I said, "My house is Thaxton. There's nothing there. We had one 4-way stop. We had one. Our town hall was a single wide trailer. And,
No way.
Yeah, and there was nothing in it.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. We had a town hall that said town hall written on a piece of board.
It was a fucking trailer.
and it was a single wide trailer, and there was nothing in it. It was empty.
Oh, so you couldn't even go in and do business?
No, we had an auction that happened every Saturday night
How big is
by a
this
guy
town?
named Cowboy Washington.
Of course, his name's
God
Cowboy
rest
Washington.
his
Fucking
God
Cowboy
rest his
Washington.
soul. He's not with us anymore. Across the street was Thaxton Grocery, and it was a gas station with like analog pumps or whatever those are called, where the dials like turn, you know. And that was it. That's all we had. And there was, I think, our
So what are you, like 500-600 people town?
500 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I lived in Montana in a 40 town. There's 40 people, 50 people in our town.
Mm-hmm.
And then I drove like 45 miles up the road I was running social media for a company up there. And like, yeah, we just go through a bunch of these. Like my town was small,
Yeah.
but every other town that you go through is like 300, 400, 500 people. Like,
Yeah.
like not even a stoplight, most of them.
We didn't have a stoplight. We had a 4-way stop.
Yeah,
it was on the honor system. That's how bad it
But
was.
that's how they make their money is by catching you speeding. So it'd be like 25 miles through the town. You go 26 miles and they catch you. Like they'll get you for 1 mile over. So you just went like 3 miles under.
Yeah.
And so like you could
That
fucking
wasn't like ours.
you
We
could fly
we
in
could
between
fly,
towns, in between,
That's how ours was. You could fly in between towns.
But when you hit a town,
Mm-hmm.
you were slowing your ass down.
Our roads were curvy too, but
Well,
we knew them like the back
There
of our
is
hands.
one of the towns. It's it's called Darby, Montana, and I think it's a little bit famous.
It's my brother's name.
Really?
Darby,
Okay.
Montana. No,
His
Darby.
name is Darby, Montana. It's not Darby, but it's
right.
Darby, Montana.
No, it's Darby. Yeah.
But I think Jay Leno went through the town one time, and they pulled him over for speeding, and they pretty much told him you can pay the $300 fine right now, or you can. Your brother's calling you
My
right now.
brother is calling me
As we're
literally
talking
Darby.
about
yeah,
it.
I heard it. He's listening to the podcast. Yeah.
But they pretty much told him $300 or you could spend a night in jail. Like it was, you can go to jail or you can spend. And so like I think Jay Leno was bitching about it and talking about it. And the only reason I know is because living there, people talk about Jay
Right.
Leno talking about this town.
That's funny.
And he just paid the tab and moved on. But
Nice. He can afford it. Yeah.
I would hope he could.
He's got so many cars.
His car collection's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
it's
So
really cool.
he was He was in that Tim Allen TV show that I really liked. Very Republican TV show. If you're a Democrat, you probably hated that show.
To Last Man Standing?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's so,
I've never seen the show, but I wrote songs for the kid on that show. He's like a Disney kid. I got
really?
like 3 songs on his album.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What kid, I wonder what kid that is.
His name's Jet Juergensmeyer.
Oh, but
And
what's
he-
his
he
character
played-
in the
He played his like the girl's son.
girl's son? Oh, the little kid, the tiny
little kid. Yeah, but he's like 16, 17.
Well, yeah, he's
year old
older now.
Yeah.
Like during that show, he would have been younger. Because I think they used what is his name? But they used the same kid because they did change some characters out.
He was one of the ones they changed too, but he's also in like some other TV.
I think
he was in Ozark. He was in the TV show Ozark. He played Jason Bateman Young.
Oh,
And,
okay.
He was in like Adventures in Babysitting, the TV show.
Okay.
He's also the
So
Penguin.
he's a musician as well.
Yeah, he's actually pretty good. Yeah,
Okay.
so I wrote 3
Do you
or
write it
4.
all anymore, or do you just play for fun?
I have a lot of songs that I continue to write, and that I have just a ton. of
But is
songs.
it more just therapeutic for you, just at home writing, doing music, but not really trying to do anything with it other than just enjoying
I
the
feel
music?
like
Is he good? Does he keep you entertained at home, Jessica?
with my fake sing songs, but I don't do real sing songs.
You should do real ones for her.
I do. So basically, I feel like when it comes to talent, I'm the most talented in writing songs. And so I
Like
don't really have to try. It's just something that I do. It's a natural
It's like a muscle
thing.
that just works.
Yeah.
Okay.
It works. Yeah.
Do you ever think about just putting them out there, see if you could sell them?
No.
Because I know the money's when it comes to music, as we've talked earlier. It's just
Yeah.
like
you
want to
bitterness-
enjoy it.
I have a bitterness towards music because it's just like no matter how hard you work, no matter what you put into it, it just depends on someone else saying, yeah, sure, or no.
Right,
That's
if it's
it.
good or bad.
Right. And so that's the bitterness I have towards it. It doesn't matter if
But you still play. I see you post stuff. Like,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
just
I play,
like jamming
yeah.
out,
Yeah.
enjoying life.
Yeah, but that's just something. That's like if I'm out driving a car
Right.
and I post me driving a car, it's the same thing. It's
Right.
just like that's what I do. So
Do you ever perform? Like, do you enjoy performing at all?
I'm actually in discussion with this dude who just opened a venue, and I'm probably going to do like these rider rounds that they do
Okay.
in Nashville all the time, but do them here.
So would that be more on the level of something you would enjoy?
Yeah,
like the
I
way that
enjoy
would be structured.
Yep, because I enjoy that storytelling feeling. I don't like cover
So it
songs and
wouldn't feel
people going out and
corporate
play
and
cover
greedy
songs. No, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
So I
So
enjoy that.
you really still enjoy music quite a bit. It's just like on
Yeah.
your terms.
Yeah, I hate listening. I don't like. She'll tell you I don't listen to music.
Really?
I hate music. I don't
fucking
listen
love
to it.
music, man. I can't
Don't
live
listen
without
to it. I don't even in the gym. I don't put on anything.
What do you do? What do you do for? Do you like complete silence?
Yeah, I
put
don't
in,
listen to
like-
music at all.
Do you put anything to like block out sound?
If I listen to music, it makes me angry. Like I cannot.
Can you listen to your own music?
No,
No?
I can't listen to anything because if I listen to it, it's like I pick it apart.
Okay, so when you listen to music, do you hear the story? Like so when I
If
listen to
there is
music,
one,
like if I
yeah.
listen to your music,
I hate music. I don't listen to it.
that's crazy. So just silence is good. Is good enough for you.
If I listen to music weirdly, this is weird.
You
but
have to have an artist you enjoy though, that you don't pick apart.
Yeah, there's maybe one that I like. I will
course.
listen to older stuff because that's when I feel like
So
it was
does
the
poor
most,
Jessica just get picked apart
authentic.
for listening to any music that she listens to?
Oh,
How
if
dare
she
you listen to
listens
them?
I'm like, come
She
on,
listens to
that's
some good-
awful.
This is what I would change in this song.
And it's true, I would change it, but
See,
they don't care that I say
Thankfully,
that though.
the way my brain works, if your instrument sounds good,
Mm-hmm.
your voice sounds good, and you have like a decent hook or like I don't know, because some country songs don't have hooks, right?
Yeah, some of them are just
Some are-
storytelling.
Yeah, more of a storytelling than just like a lot of rap songs and pop have more hooks to kind of pull
Correct.
you in. I'll know the hook, but I'm literally drawn by the person's voice. Like Lil Wayne, I can't fucking stand Lil Wayne. Like I think I don't like him as a person.
Right.
But like some of his music, just hearing his voice with the beat and whatever instrument's going on, like I don't know what he's saying, but I'm just like whoa, because I don't listen to words. I can't.
Right.
I have to. Like,
My
listen.
thing is computer science degree, so I'm very logical
Right.
on lots of things. And they throw in lyrics that make absolutely no sense in logic, and that bothers me. I'm like,
get
how
that.
did that get through to the radio? How did it go through so many steps in a writer's room and someone not bring up and say, that doesn't make any
But
sense?
how many songs have been popular due to the fact that the person's popular, not that the song's
Right.
good, right?
That's
like
what I
it's
don't like.
Jay-Z,
Yeah.
so it,
That's what
This
I
is a
don't like.
masterpiece.
Like there's this we
Beyonce, come on.
We watch Hulu, and anyone who watches Hulu, there's this ad that comes on about this artist that comes on. What's her name? Kinsey or something? Kinsey, and she sings songs, and all I do is hear the hook over and over again. And she says something about
But a good hook will pull people in.
right, but it doesn't make sense to what the song she's saying.
Like the stories he's telling.
So she's saying a song like "She looks good on paper, but I look good on you." Great hook. I love that hook. It's a great idea, right? Except for the fact that you admit in the chorus that you see the appeal. If you see the appeal, but you're also tearing down the appeal, then,
Right.
then you have to empathize and understand why the guy that you want has the same appeal. So you shouldn't have put that in the song. It bothers me. It doesn't tell the right story. You're only putting it in because you lacked a line. And that's what bothers me. I'm like, I would have changed it to this and then it would have made sense.
I guess that would bug me.
It bothers me completely.
I guess it would be like if I every time I worked out, I just watched other people work out while I was working out, and they were just horrible at working out, and it would just annoy me
Right.
watching them. It was like, why am I watching this horrible
But
person?
no, take it a step further. The person that you're watching out horrible is the most famous person on the planet.
Right, Liver King.
Right. And you're just like, I'm like, why? Why? And so I had to get out of that atmosphere. That was one of the main reasons I want out, because I just can't take it.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about just like listening to music from like different languages so you can just enjoy the music and not worry about the lyrics?
I've always wondered about
K-pop's
I've
popular.
always wondered about and maybe someone who speaks different languages can help me here. We have rhyme scheme that we have to keep up with in songs. Like if it doesn't rhyme, no one listens to it.
I
Do
think that,
other
yeah.
countries rhyme?
I think some do, but no, I've definitely heard music from other countries that had less musical feel, but are still some popular
But
songs.
is their whole purpose of a song to rhyme like ours is? Like
I would think yes.
it's
Because outside of, I feel
know?
like outside of country music, you're right. Everything's rhymed. Like all
everything. All of our music rhymes.
Well, some of the country music. That's one
There's
thing I
some
like
songs
about
that
some
don't,
of the
but-
country music is literally you're listening to a fucking story,
Yeah.
and it's literally just it's like having the right.
I have so many
Voice
cool
level.
stories on things that I know from behind the scenes of music that would probably fascinate
So we
you.
could probably just have you for a whole second podcast and talk
Yeah.
about.
I'll give you one brief one. Like, The House That Built Me is probably considered like one of the greatest country songs written. I think it's Rivers Rutherford wrote it, but
Okay.
it was actually given to Blake Shelton for
I like
him
Blake
to
Shelton.
sing. He was married to Miranda Lambert at the time, and he picked her up at the airport.
I also like.
And he had a CD of songs that were pitched to him, and that song was on the CD. And she listened to it, and she's like, "This is a really good song." He said, "Yeah, but I can't make it work. I'm a 6'7" guy standing out of someone's house, looking to asking them to let me in. It doesn't
Wait,
work."
is he really that big?
Yeah, he's 6'7", I think.
I
Yeah,
damn, I didn't realize he was
he's
that
like,
tall.
it doesn't work. Me standing outside of this house, wanting someone to let me in to remember how it used to
Right.
be in this house that I used to live in. And she's like, "Can I have it?" And then that became her number one song. And it
Really?
wasn't even pitched to her. It was pitched to Blake Shelton, which is really kind of cool. These stories that are behind these songs that you don't even know. And it's her best song that's ever been.
How do you feel about artists in general? I guess not creating their own content, right?
I don't think they should.
Like, you don't think they should create their own
I
content,
think
or do you
if
think they
they're-
should?
I think they should if they're good. I don't
Like-
think they should if they're not.
Like, if you were really pushing to be an artist,
Right.
you would write all of your own songs, right? You wouldn't buy that many probably from people.
No, but I wouldn't want to be an artist because I enjoy
but I'm
the
saying
writing stuff.
if you
if
were,
I did, but too
right.
many people do, and they don't have the ability to write, and so that's sort of like what I'm saying with the accounting thing. You got to be your own accountant. You got to be on your marketing.
So
you got
you
to be on
think
your writing.
if you're a good performer and artist and you know how to sing and use an instrument,
Right.
it's okay to hire somebody to help you with the lyrics.
Let's look at Taylor Swift for instance. She's considered a writer.
Okay.
But her best songs are not written by her. They're written by Max Martin, who's like the number one writer in the world.
Okay.
And so if her best songs are written by him, then that means that he's the reason,
Yeah.
not her. And so, but also he takes the opportunity to use her as well because she's a well-known artist. But
So
she's
it benefits both parties.
right. But I doubt she had a lot of say-so in the room with the number one writer that's ever been.
So he actually commands a lot of power, even though I don't know who the fuck he is.
Correct. He's the number one writer that's like ever been.
Really?
Yeah.
So he writes for, okay.
Everybody.
So he just has a genius brain.
Every Adele song, every Backstreet Boys song, every NSYNC
Didn't Lady
song.
Gaga write at one point in time?
I don't know if she wrote. I don't know. I'm pretty sure her songs are probably written by him too. Like I hear his stuff on the radio and I know when it's him.
Because of the way it's written?
Mm-hmm.
Have you met the guy? I'm guessing you met the guy.
I've never met Max Martin. He's from Sweden. So
so he's okay.
You usually go there to write with him. He doesn't come here very much.
Oh, yeah. If you're the number one, you come to me.
Yeah.
Well, man, there's so much more.
He's either from Switzerland or Sweden. I can't remember.
So much more we could talk about. I didn't even get into the ACL conversation. I wanted to talk about the ACL, but I'm just like, fuck, man. We've been talking for like
We'll make
2+
it quick.
hours.
I tore it.
Yeah. Well, no. So I tore my ACL, MCL, and meniscus 6 years ago.
Yeah. I tore
And
my
so
MCL
it was
too.
just like I was going to talk to you about like just your experience in like recovery because it fucking sucked.
Did you have
man.
surgery?
Yeah.
Do you know which surgery you had? Do you know if it was a patella graft or a hamstring graft?
Hamstring.
That's what I had.
Yeah.
Nice.
They pulled it up from the hamstring.
Yeah.
And do you still have that little? Are you,
Right by my knee.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
it's like numb in a manner of speaking. Like
Yeah,
you
I
can feel
can't
like
feel
the
anything
tingly,
on the left side of my left leg. Which one is your left leg?
Is the left, so it's the left side
Of
of
your
my
left leg.
left leg, yeah,
Mine
and
too,
about 3 or 4 inches down.
It itches and you can't.
There's that
You
scar.
can't satisfy it.
What's crazy is they somehow cut a piece underneath my knee, stuck something up, stole a piece of my. They didn't even
Hamstring.
cut from my hamstring. They didn't even cut the hamstring part. They cut from underneath the knee to get to the hamstring.
Well, that's the thing. The hamstring is like reins on a horse. So it comes under, and the part you don't use is the part that connects to the front of your
of the knee.
So
Yeah.
they take the part that connects to the front of your knee.
But yeah, now my right knee is probably worse than my left.
Well, they told me that was going to happen. They said, yeah, you're just going to weight bear on the other one, and it's going to end up tearing down a lot faster.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of work to get to a point where they're somewhat even.
And
But
the reason why I know so much about this knee surgery is because anywhere I go, no matter if it's the dentist, the doctor, I do not stop asking questions. They probably hate me, and I learn everything about everything all the time. I love it.
my PT, when I had my knee surgery, he would literally bring out this big book and he would teach me.
Yeah.
I mean, he even had it to the point where like he knew. This is a different PT years later when they were working with my knee, and he knew I'd becoming a personal trainer, and he'd give me homework. He'd be like, "All right, you got to go home and memorize."
I love that kind of stuff.
He'd be like, "You have to memorize. You have to tell me what the 4 or the 3 major muscles in your hamstring are. Like your 3 major hamstrings, because your hamstring has 3 major muscles, where your quads have 4.
Right.
And
Quadricep, bicep, tricep. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, and like honestly, I could not rattle them off now, but I could then. Like I would come in, he's like, "All right, before we start, what are the 3 hamstring muscles?" I'm like, damn it, semi, one of them semi something. They all have semi in it.
Yeah.
But anyways, the recovery was shitty and it sucked.
Yeah, I got through mine.
laid in
about
bed for weeks.
I got through mine in about 2 months, though. I was back playing sports.
Yeah,
like
so that was the cool thing. They let me out of. Well, here's the thing: anybody that takes physical therapy serious and recovery serious,
you can get through it pretty fast.
you can. Yeah.
Well, they say the best doctors and the best physical therapists are the ones that don't baby you. The ones that push you to the max.
Because
Yeah.
I'd be coming in, I'd be like 2 weeks in, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to like
The
fucking
ones that tell you
jog
to
or, like,
stay off
whatever.
of it and baby it,
Fuck
usually
no.
you don't have good recovery. And I had a really good
I
doctor,
pushed
really
mine.
good physical therapist. So yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, but it was a shitty fucking recovery. But at
Yep.
the end of the day, like, so happy it's over with.
Yeah. Me too.
So, but seriously, Sky, thanks for stopping in. Jessica, thanks for being the peanut gallery today. We
Yep.
appreciate it. Maybe we'll have you sit in next to Sky next time. It was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, we went all over the place, but that's what a podcast is for.
It
right?
is. And the major thing is I want to talk supplements and some of your life experiences. And I mean,
The main thing I
learned
want
some
to
great
get out
stuff
of
about
this is
supplements.
come to Nutrishop.
Yeah, that's right.
Just come
Just
in
come.
there and
For those
strike
that are
up a
in Lexington.
conversation. Yeah.
He's a cool ass dude. Really cool. But anyways, man, thanks so much for coming on, and hopefully we'll have you on again.
Heck yeah.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
People are amazing. And this world has a large supply of incredible people doing incredible things that have a story to tell. Stories that encourage, inspire, and are just plain interesting. Join us on the 1st and 15th of every month as David Disponett meets with interesting and inspiring people that, well, he just wants to talk to.